Ooh! Oh, I killed it. I killed it. Mom! Hey, hey everyone, it's Fox from Model Making Guru here. Hello, hello, and welcome. It's Warhammer Sunday times. Time for the Warhammer Sunday. If you've not seen one of these before, basically this is where I sit here for 3 hours and try and carry on with building the backlog of kits from the Warhammer Conquest part work. I've got all the issues. I'm building up everything that I've been given slowly. And when everything's been built, I'll then go around and paint everything properly and film some proper painting videos. But for the meantime, of a Sunday, we're just building stuff. Very quickly before we get going, I have to do my usual shout outs to all the people that make my content possible. First and foremost to my two corporate supporters, goblingaming.co.uk and of course emodels.co.uk. Both awesome places you need to go to get all your tabletop gaming model stuff and all your model making stuff. Links in the description below the video. Use the links that are down there under the video. They'll help me out massively because they're my affiliate links. And they tell them that I sent you, and it helps support this channel. So use those links down below for those too. Also, of course, my patrons, my Patreon supporters, lovely people who directly support me. They pay all my bills. They make all of this possible. So massive thank you to my Patreon supporters and to my new shiny YouTube channel supporter member type people. I don't really know what to call them. They're just members, but members is kind of a dumb name. Hey, members. It's a dumb name. So, but yes, all my new YouTube channel members, welcome. You can see them. They've got the little green symbol next to the name, and they can do customized emoji. There's not many of them, but they've got a few custom emoji. If you want to become a YouTube member, just click on the join button underneath this video or on my YouTube channel homepage. Click it anywhere you want. Click on join, and you can become a YouTube member. You get access to those buttons and badges and shizzle, and also you get access to early access videos a week before everyone else, ad free. So go and have a look. But yes, massive thank you to all of those people. Now, welcome. This is a typical one of my videos. I've got the iChat here in front of me on the iPad. Gutham, of course, is your delightful and slightly adorable chat dolly. I'm going to be cracking on building. I will do my best to interact with the chat. It's not like when I'm doing gaming and I can't see anything. I've got the chat here. But if you want to catch my attention, as always, please do, because this stream isn't just about me doing stuff here. It doesn't really matter what I'm working on here, because none of you actually watch this anyway. You have me on in the background. Most of you are probably like building something or playing a video game and you have the chat to type in. That's what I do when I watch other people's streams. I'm usually playing Fallout, also in the chat. It's more just a chance for you guys to hang out in the chat and have a laugh with your mates, with your friends. So if you're in the chat and you want to get my attention, do feel free to ask me anything you want. It gives me stuff to talk about, so always treat my streams as an Ask Me Anything. Put your comments in big fat capital letters so I have to have a chance to see it because it's here, but I'll have my helmet of seeing on my magnifying visor and it'll just be a big blur. So put your comment in big fat capital letters so I have a chance of seeing it amongst all of the chat. Or if you want to, you can do a super chat, which is the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That puts your comment in a big coloured box and I can't miss it then. And also it helps this channel out. Now I'm trying something new this week. I have the microphone, instead of being the microphone over there, which is rubbish because my face is here pointing that way. I bought myself a new microphone mounting arm thing that I had one, I've got two now, and a little magical fluffy thing that covers around the microphone, and I'm trying it here. So let me know how I sound, if I sound a bit less echoey and tinny than I normally do. Hopefully, because I've got the microphone ensconced in a thing. I'd show you, but I'd have to move the camera, and then that would just break the entire focus. So I'm not going to show you, but yes. So what are we doing this week? Well, as like I say, we are cracking on with our Warhammer Conquest, and when we left off many weeks ago, because it's been many weeks since we did this, because I had various things happened and then I had to go and have my entire face disassembled and all kinds of things went on, so that's all fine now, by the way. We're on issue 62, which is the Galvanic Servo Haulers. Yes. Ooh, oh, lovely. Dad puts a little super chat through there. Massive thank you. A little super chat. It says, yay, YouTube Foxters. Yes, I'm going to call you Foxters. That works for me. If you want to become a YouTube Foxter, click on the join button. Yes. How about I need to come up with a name. I need to come up with a name. I need to come up with a name for my YouTube members. Obviously, Patreon supporters are just patrons. I don't know what to call YouTube members, apart from adorable. But yes, thank you very much for that, Dad. That's what a super chat looks like. You see it there, that little coloured box that just pops up in the chat. So, and you get the little animation, so I can't miss it. Thank you very much, Dad. Chris at Grace Model says, does the microphone surround thing do anything? Is it worth picking one up? I'll move the camera and show you. I can't move it much, and I can't show you the whole microphone, but it's this thing here. It's like a foamy thing that you can open it and close it, and you mount it onto your mounting device. And it does make things a little bit better. I won't get the same camera position now, will I? Where's the centre? There's the centre. It won't make it 1,000,000% better, but it will improve it somewhat. I know you got loads of microphone noise then, sorry. It will improve it somewhat because it gets rid of all the sort of ambient sound from around it. Now, the thing with the Yeti microphone that Chris has got and I've got is that the microphone is at the front. So it doesn't pick up the sound from behind anyway, normally. But it helps reduce the sound reflecting around the room. Now, where I have the microphone now, normally, or on the other side, it's quite reflective because I've got my big drawers here. You stay there. I've got my hobby zone drawers there. I've got my spray booth over there, which is a big echo chamber, and I've got this big flat desk. So often it's quite a bright reflective sound when I use a microphone, the desk microphone. But this helps deaden it down a bit. So hopefully it sounds a bit deader for you, a bit more, less echoey, a little bit. Probably not much massively, but it does help when you're doing voiceover and stuff like that. So yes, it's worth getting one. If you remind me, Chris, I'll send you a link later. They're not expensive, and I'll send you a link to the boom arm if you want. We'll have a quick look at who is in chat before we crack on going. Yeah, we're going to be working on the second servo hauler, and you might get to see me do some magnet stuff today. You might. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. The first person I have in chat is Mordraka, who says, "G'day, mates. How is everyone doing this wet winter's day?" He's in Australia, so it's weirdness down there. Eric Graham and the Raging Model, Scaly Models, Dad, one of your mods, and of course Chris at Gross Models is one of your mods as well. Your mods are lovely, fluffy, adorable forest creatures that will keep you safe and free from all harm, unless you cross them, in which case they'll run 400,000 volts through you, tie you to a train line and watch the train go over you really slowly, and then they'll eject you into the sun, launch you into the sun, so don't cross the mods. Eric Graham, feeling a lot better. He's in the cardiovascular unit now. He's been moved up, so hopefully keep getting better, dude. Hopefully it goes all right for you. Do take care of yourself. In my day, you couldn't even take a mobile phone into the hospital, and now you're actually watching a live stream. I like this. Yes. Says it's to do with his heart. It's got an outer coating that's got inflamed as a technical term, but I can't spell it, let alone pronounce it. Yes. Right, we've got. Well, take care, dude. Hope you recover soon. More Draka. We have Nim Cinderin is in. Welcome, Nim. Who else? Candygram from Mongo is in. We have. I've not got a button for it, so I'll do it. Skullfy. I haven't got a button. The only button I've got.
Slap it on.
Is a TED button because I haven't got as many buttons as Chris, so I can't have as many buttons on the go at the same time. Yes. We have Scaly Models. We've done, Dad, of course. We have Chris at Rest Models who popped in, who is playing Lara Croft. He's playing Tomb Raider as he speaks. So I do that sometimes. I play video games while I have streams going. Model Maker Mayhem is in. We have Wayne Hayward. Welcome, Wayne Hayward. We have Interzone 88. Hi, Fox. Hi, Scaly. Hi, all. Welcome. G'day. Who else has come in? Quano Man is in. So everybody take cover. Redlen is in. Welcome, Redlen. We have Ross Bedlock. Welcome, Ross. Model Maker Mayhem says Magnetizing. Mayhem says Bionex for Eric. Dexterous Crafter's in. Hey, Nat. Playing games. That's how Gross Models missed me then. Chris misses everything. Chris misses the chat on his own streams. Because Chris stays at the bottom and then forgets to scroll up. He always starts at the bottom and forgets he has to go back up a bit to where he left off. That's how you chat. Yeah, so welcome everybody. Welcome. Remember, if you want to get my attention in chat, please do ask me as many questions. I'll answer questions about anything except religion and politics. I won't give you my PIN number. Go. But yeah, do ask me questions. It gives me stuff to talk about, and I shall do my best. Now, if you remember last time we were here, we're building the galvanic servo haulers. Galvanic. Chris says, I like the bottom. Well, I've heard those rumours, I will admit. We built this galvanic servo hauler last time, and we've got a big dangly grabby arm, which seems a mite over-engineered to me, but hey. Now, Brain Boy here, I suddenly realised I've got to, this has to go in a skirmish case or a battle case or something and get stored away. If you're not aware of what we're doing, George, one of my very lovely friends and patrons, George, has kind of part funded this part work. So we're going to split it. He's going to get all the Space Marine stuff, and I'm going to get all the Death Guard stuff. But we don't know what we're doing with the furniture and this kind of stuff yet. So it's possible this may have to be sent to George in the US, and I'll have to pack it up. And I want to be able to take that off to pack it up. But I never thought of putting a magnet in there because it doesn't really want to stay on, he says, as it stays on. It's supposed to fall off. God damn it. Well-engineered nonsense. There we go. So yes, it doesn't really stay on very well. When it's got some paint on it, it might grip a bit better. But of course, I might need to transport this to George if he gets these scenery items. So what I'm going to do for the next one, because we've got to build 2 of them, I'm going to see if I can magnetate, if I can put a magnet in it, so that it's got a similar kind of one that I can take on and off. Now, I haven't fully assembled this one yet because I need to paint all the tracks and treads and stuff off the model, so that, where's the other one? That one. I don't want to glue these on because I want to be able to get access into there and underneath all these bits and doohickeys. So I'll get these painted separately and I'll glue them on at the very end. Doesn't matter if you won't get any glue anywhere. So that's one of them. The other one we're going to have to start building, and hopefully, like I said, I've got a plan. I can't do anything with this one now because there's no way to get, unless I put like a big load of milliput down there and jam a magnet in, which I suppose I still could do, but I can't really guarantee the big chunk of milliput won't just fall over inside, and then there'll be sadness and I'll throw the magnet away. So we'll leave that one be. Let's have a look. Mayhem says, I really need to get my finger out and finish the house and workspace so I can do things and stuff. Yes. Chris at Gross Model says, pin number. Grrr. I knew you'd trigger. I knew you'd get that one. Everybody's saying get well soon to Eric. Yes, take care, buddy. Take care of yourself and get well soon. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and do the modification first. Modifications. So, let me get the bits off a test sprue. I was about to start just cutting pieces off and I've not even looked at what bits I need. It's kind of obvious. A10 and A9. A9, A10. There we go. I'm just going to get these off quickly and down and dirty quickly. I'm probably going to knock the microphone a lot because of the cowling around it. So my apologies if you get lots of banging and booming. It's me banging the microphone with my big massive sprue. Look at my sprue, it's massive. Ping. So how is everyone? I hope you are all well. I know a lot of you will have come here from watching Colin and Dave do their Sunday morning Buddy Bill brunch. Sunday brunch, I like watching that. It's always good fun. Watching Colin and Dave. They have a good little vibe together. I'll always give up time to watch those guys. So yeah, I hope you're all well and doing okay. Dad's obviously asked, I think, the question already, Bench and Belly. What are you working on right now? What's your current building project? If you're making models, doesn't have to, it could be a drawing, could be a painting, you could be putting up shelves, doesn't really matter. What's your current creative project? And what's in your belly? What are you going to have or had for your dinner later on or earlier on? Right now, here's the thing. Here is the thing we need to do now. I need to get this off the sprue. There. Hang on. Cutting now, sir. The T1000 will definitely try to get you off the sprue. I would. Right. So, what we have is, we have 2 halves of the vehicle that looks... I'm getting reminded of all those kind of... You see the people like Mig Jimenez and stuff doing their how to wear the vehicles, and they always do like vintage 1950s tractors. It just reminds me of that. So, that needs to go in there, and of course it will just not stay on, ever. It will... So we need to come up with a combobulation. Now I do have... It was very satisfying. Let me do that again. Hang on. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's very satisfying. I do have some magnetings. I do actually have many magnets. I have more magnets than you can shake a stick at. Thy Creator's in. Welcome, Thy Creator. And what I'm going to do, only little tiny ones. I don't want the world's strongest magnet or anything like that because they just need to not fall off these arms. Oh God, these are the world's strongest magnets. Oh, good God. So what I've got, I need those 2 magnets. Also, they're kind of sticky, which is weird. Now, Did I find those rivets, Fox? Well remembered, Mordraka. I did. I did. They were in a drawer that I have now labelled rivets. If you remember when I did the last one, my very good friend Kenneth from Australia, very lovely bloke, lovely, lovely fella. He's a supporter and a patron and a lovely bloke and a very good friend. He made some rivets. Or he's got some rivets, and he sent me a little pack of rivets. Billions and billions of little tiny, tiny rivets, which are actually about the right scale for that. And now I'm not going to try and put them on stream because they're so tiny. I'm going to have to use my face telescope to get those on. Also, I need to ask him the best way to attach them as well. But I will probably use some. Well, I will use some of these rivets on these servo haulers because they do have little rivets on, but they need more rivets in more places like there. I may add more rivets. But I'll do that off camera because they are really tiny and you won't be able to see anything anyway. Are they sticky back magnets? I hope not. They're not supposed to be. Oh, they are. Oh dear. I didn't expect that. Magic. How does that work? I don't want sticky back magnets because I don't need sticky back magnets. That's just going to be nonsense. Get this sticky nonsense off. Yeah. I did not expect stickiness on the magnets. Because if I try and glue them onto the plastic with the sticky back, then the plastic will glue to the sticky back and that'll just be sadness. So let's just try and get that off. I'll clean that off with some alcohol in a minute. Put that there. Well, that was money well spent. Because I wouldn't trust, I don't know what the pull is on these magnets. They're quite powerful, so I wouldn't trust this glue. If I was, say, to glue this, to use the stickiness on it, to attach it to a model, I wouldn't necessarily trust the stick side to either last forever or to be powerful enough to withstand the pull of the magnet. I need to put my space helmet on so I can see. I need some tweezers. Tweezer time, tweezer time. Thankfully, I think it's like a little film, so I can just scrape it off, maybe pull it off. Yeah, it's almost like PVA glue. I know you can't really see this, so apologies. It's not exactly clear, but and somehow these tweezers are non-magnetic, which is actually very handy, I have to say. Kind of didn't expect that. I kind of just grabbed the first tweezers, which of course are metal, and thought, wait a minute, these are going to stick to the... Oh, no, they're not. Kind of handy. Right, so I will have a look at chat in a bit and see what you're all saying for your bench and belly. I did see the phrase... Oh! I did see the phrase, where did that just go? Hang on. Hang on, I've got an exploding magnet that's run away. There it is. It's fine. Yes, I'll check the bench and belly comments in a minute, but I did notice the phrase jam roly poly, and suddenly it's 1978 again, all over again. On camera? Yes. Darn it, why did I buy magnets that had adhesive nonsense? Yeah, I wouldn't trust these to withstand the pull of the magnets. Because I've done it before. I've stuck magnets in a model and I've used like too little glue or too little adhesive, and what happens is if it's two pieces that go back together again, when you pull them apart one day, all the magnets just come out at the same time because they didn't have enough glue to set them in. So a little adhesive pad like that, I wouldn't trust that to resist the pull. Wow. Okay. Jam roly poly, chaos Swiss roll. Whack a ruddy girt nail in that, it will definitely hold it in place. Actually, it's a good point. I could put a hole in there and put a screw up there with the screw head somehow, wouldn't it? Yeah, I've got some of them. IPA does the job. Yeah, I've got some IPA, but I've scraped it off now. Now my plan is I'm gonna sort of bodge it if I can. Now, in my brain it works. I'm not though. I'm not a tractor scientist or a magnet scientist, so I can't say it's going to work proper work. But we'll see. What I've got some thick plastic card and some thin plastic card. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to actually use some scissors because this is just going to be internal structure. I don't need to worry about having a nice neat edge. I'm just going to cut off, I know you can't see, I'm just going to cut off a little piece of plastic card. Those are old broken scissors, which doesn't actually help. Now, what I want to do is I want to have that flat for a start. Let's just get that flat. 1 second. Ein Moment bitte. None of this is planned, folks. You know that. I make stuff up as I go along, and I nearly said something else apart from stuff. Nearly said a different word that would have been a bad word. Now, don't forget, of course, this is one of my streams. It's nothing to do with my corporate sponsors, eModels or Goblins, so you can do as much swears as you want in the chat. I don't care. I'm not going to do any swears on the actual tally box out loud, but you can do all the swears you want in the chat. Feel free. I won't read them out, of course. Right. So what we're going to have is magnet on there, magnet on there. I'm not going to cut this nub off. And I need that basically to go down low enough into this hole. I'll move this up so you can see. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see a bit better. Hang on. So I need this to go into the hole here. And then we'll have the magnets on there. So I need to attach some plastic card in here, but low enough down that the magnets will be in the right place. So the first thing I want to do is attach a magnet to the bottom of this. And for this, what I'm going to do is use the top of this as a safety. I found the best thing to do with magnets is always have the two magnets you're going to use stuck together, because that way you make sure you don't get them the wrong way around. I'm going to put a dot. I've got some industrial grade high viscosity superglue. HV is high viscosity formula for porous and non-porous substrates, even wrong words. Used on MDF, rubber, metals, PVCU and plastic. Viscosity at 25 degrees is 1500 kps. There we go, 1500 kps. I don't know what a kps is, but it sounds good. So what I'm going to do, this may go horribly wrong. I'm not a magnet scientist, so I'm going to put a big dot of it in the middle there. Doesn't have to be exactly in the middle. Big dot of it there. I'm quite simply going to plonk these and then glue my finger to it probably at the same time on top. And hopefully not glue. Geez, that's stuck already. There we go. Hopefully I'm only gluing the bottom one on. That's already jammed in place, quite literally. So, yes. And my fingers stuck together. Hooray! That's a lot faster setting than I expected. I shall give it a quick zap of some zip kicker, just to lock it in place. Now I have to hope here that I haven't actually glued both magnets together, because that would just be rubbish. I can always add another magnet on the bottom. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so I've got some zap. I've got some kicker on there. Okay. Hopefully I'm not going to get stuck firm. Well, bugger, yes. Okay, so that is on there. Now, hopefully, if I'm lucky, I can still get one of those magnets off. Let's just find out, shall we? Have I stuck both magnets together? Oh no, that one still comes off. Fantastic. There we go. So for safety, I'll just take it off. So we've got one magnet, not in the middle, but it doesn't actually matter where it is. It's not really relevant. My fingers are still sticking together. Hello. Right, so we've got that now. So what I need to do is I need to figure out where to put some plastical card at the right height on this thing. So what I want to do, I've got this nice thick plastic card that's not going to, if I'm taking this on and off, I don't want the plastic card to be bending and pulling out, you see. So I've got a cunning plan. I'll just... There you go. I had a panic then. I was like, oh, I've broken the magnet. Oh no. So what I want to do is cut this a lot smaller for a start. Might not get much building done today. I might just be farting about with magnets all afternoon. That can go there. What I intend to do is loosely get it glued in place and then reinforce it with some braces. So doesn't have to be pretty or anything like that. All it needs to be is purely functional. So if I put that there. What I can do is put that there. Now, I never really trust super glue that much because it's got a bit powdery there. I never really quite trust super glue, really, but it'll be fine, I suppose. Where do I need to put this now to glue it down? About there. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this. There's no real logic to me how I'm doing this at all. I'll get some blue tack. I'm making this up as I go along. I'm figuring it out as I go along. So expect no proper science here. Attempt no landings. Just put that on there. Glomp it into place so it's about the right height. I don't have to keep holding it. There we go. Blech, Zip Kicker Stink says that I like the smell of it. It starts off smelling like sweets, and then after a few seconds it smells like kind of burning tyres and like hot electronics. It's very strange, but kind of likeable. Right, so all I need to do is, basically, I'm going to need my extra fast setting cement. And what I'm going to do is I need to make sure this is going to sit in place and fit. So if I put that there, that was the dumbest thing I've ever done. If I put that there, that's going to be less than halfway. It's not actually not wide enough. Where's that other piece gone? There. That will be probably too wide. Maybe. It's not knowing the width, you see. That there, that might be about the right width, possibly. I can always trim it. Let's just get it glued in first. So, what I intend on doing is making a bracket. So what I shall do, let me get, it doesn't need to be pretty, so I can just use my knife. It doesn't matter. And I just wanted to start with one bracket, and I'll make more brackets as I go along. What I need to do is get my dad device. Grey Hall is in. Yay, welcome, Grey. Not seen you for a while. Make a little hinge, not now in a bracket even. Using the fast setting glue so I don't have to keep holding it. I've got used to the smell of this stuff now. It's not quite as offensive as when I first used it. Now, this is not going to be perfect. It probably will be absolute garbage and what even worse. But work. But we shall see. So I can bet. Oh, look at that. That was just absolute nonsense. Flange magnets. That was just nonsense, wasn't it? Let's try the thick cement. Oh, no, I can't use the thick cement. A mental note, don't slop the glue everywhere. Right, and bend it first. Right. Try that again, shall we? Try that again, once again with feeling. Doesn't need to be pretty. I am making this up. I'm pulling this out of my ass as we speak. So, don't expect this to work. While that's sitting for a second, I shall have a swig of coffee. Normal cup of coffee today, because I'm not drinking big coffee at the minute. While I'm getting my teeth and mouth back to normal, I've laid off the coffee a little bit. Mostly drinking water at the moment. That needs to go in properly. This is probably the dumbest thing ever, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now what I can do is that can go in there. Like that. Okay, so we'll try a bit of this. Splunge that down. This probably won't work at all. Or it might. Or it might not. Hello, feel free to move. That'd be fine, thanks. Okay, let's just get this snicked in there, and down at this end. Anchor it down before it goes anywhere else. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, it just needs to stay in place. Yep. Swine that you are. Because what I'll have to trim this a bit once it's fixed in place heartily. Quite potent stuff, this glue. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that off. I'm sick of it. In my way. Right, now I can get some proper glue under there. Okay. This is probably going to be a miserable failure, but we shall find out. William Rayburn, what is he building? I haven't watched in a while. I am building the second of 2 galvanic servo haulers. But for this one, I'm trying to do what I forgot to do in the last one, which is magnetize the bit where the big crane arm goes in there. I forgot to do that. So I'm pulling some ideas out of my butt, see if I can figure this out. Because, you know, I'm going to basically science the crap out of it. Because why not? So what I need to do is, I need to get my tweezers again. It's issue 63 or 4, I think, of the Warhammer Conquest part work that I've been working on. Basically, I'm getting all the Warhammer Conquest stuff built first, and then later on, when everything's built, I'll go back and find out why that doesn't fit. I'll go back and start the painting of everything, because there'll be full video series on painting these. So I need to get everything built first. And I'm going to see if I can reinforce this with some strips of plastic card. It does, again, prettiness is irrelevant. I don't care what it looks like. I just want to reinforce it so it can't go anywhere once it's in. Because my concern is that if you've got the magnet on there and you're pulling it up and down all the time, I don't mind if the magnet pops off the plastic. You can always super glue it back on. What I don't want is for the plastic to just rip, break, and then fall inside or something like that. Also, I need to trim it a little bit, so yes. I'll just make some little angle braces here. The angle brace, ja, das ist richtig. Now, I say I haven't got any qualifications in knocking the camera. I haven't got any qualifications in plastic card science or, you know, model engineering. If I was a true engineer like my brother, who is an engineer, he'd have all kind of like impressive bracing systems built into this now, and it'd be like awesome. But I don't have that. I've just got my witless brain. I'm just making things up, and hopefully I'm making things up that will actually work. I'm just going what I think will be logical to hold it in place, because I can only do it on one side. I can't do this on both sides. Because of course, once I've put the other side of the vehicle on, I've got no way to. Oops! I've got no way to do anything inside on the other side, so I can only really mount it and brace it on one side. There we go. Now you must stick properly. Issue 62 says Mordracker. Thank you very much. I would know it's just on the other page, and I can't turn the page over right now. Right, there we go. Give that a minute. There's some blue tack on there still. Fairly sturdy, young man. Very sturdy. Now, I don't think this will. If this fits together perfectly first time, it'll be a miracle. Also, it probably needs a bit of bending. Not quite straight. But it's going to be. I know it's going to be a bit too wide, so I need to snip that off a little bit. Let's see if I can do it with my nippers, which might be faster and more efficient than using a knife. This could go horribly wrong. Let's find out. Pick off a little bit first. Wonderful stuff, that Tamiya extra fast cement. Look at that. It's only been gone a few minutes, and I can already like hack it around and hack it. So it's gonna. There we go. So that's a nice little bit there. So my plan is now what I can do, theoretically, now it's not going to be the best joint in the world because superglue's okay, but I don't quite trust superglue. I never have trusted superglue to be. Superglue's fine for grip, but it shatters easily. So if this does go to George and he's constantly taking it on and off all the time, then it eventually will, you know, the magnet might come off. But for the moment, we might be all right. So what we need to do now is quite simply put the lid on that glue because it's taking me to space right now. Quite simply, not attach that yet. I need to clean up these two halves. And what we can do now, because that'll be fully cured by then, get these two bits together, and then we'll attach that. I may have just done like some easy magneting. Woohoo! I'm quite impressed. I've done a thing. Mum, did a thing, and it worked. Oh. So before we clean that up, I'll have a quick look at the chat. Picks up Fox's swear jar and rattles it. A bit like Mister. Yeah. I can't swear on the stream. I mean, I can. It doesn't actually affect monetization. I just don't like to swear on my open to everybody live streams because there might be young uns watching. I don't know. Where are we up to? We did bench and belly, didn't we? Bench and belly. I'll see if I can find some. I probably missed a lot of them, so if I don't read it out, you can post it again if you want. Wayne Haywood says belly chicken roast followed by jam roly-poly and custard. Bench Star Wars Legion T-47 airspeeder. Ooh, cool. Dad says, whoa, jam roly-poly. Model Maker Mayhem says jam roly-poly with custard or rice pudding. Oh, I've got rice pudding. Oh, I'm trying to avoid. The only thing is though, because obviously I've had some dental work done, I'm back to normal, but I am trying to avoid sweet foods because I find that as I've got older, sweet things have really affected. They really affect my teeth and give me toothache. So I've stopped eating fruit and sweet stuff. It's right pain in the bum. So I'd love some rice pudding. I've got some and I can't have it. Meiji Modeler says bench working on getting a glowiness on Necron Immortals, belly, bugger and all. Need to sort that out. Bench is a 135th pink Land Rover RSOV, belly not sure yet, says Ross Medlock. We have 5 minutes off your life with every sniff, says Gray. I think that's the zip kicker. Or it could be that Tamiya extra fast. People are answering about their Galvatronic thing. Tis the way that shatters that matters. Name the confectionery that saying is from. It's the way that it shatters that matters. I'm going to guess that's either, I don't know, some kind of toffee. Some kind of like a block of toffee that you smash up, or treacle toffee. I'm up to date with the chat. Right, so let's get this cleaned up very quickly, and we'll glue it together and see. I think we need one other part. A21 and 22. Do they need to go on first or afterwards? 21 and 22. I'm quite pleased I managed to get that just the right size. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. A21 and 22. Get them off the sprue as well. Safety first. I can put my magnetings away. I do have some other magnets. I don't think all my other magnets are actually adhesive magnets. I think they might be the only ones. And I've not done many magnets. I'm not a great experienced person with the magnets. I've used them a handful of times and they are brilliant. But to me, I look at magnets and I kind of see them in the same vein as doing electrics. It just scares me sometimes. I don't know why. It's because I'm rubbish and I'm not technically minded. I'm a frilly sleeve, floppy wristed artist type, not a practical engineering type. Which is why I'm rubbish at doing what Steve does, which is of course the scratch building stuff. I can't do that. Oi, ping. Right, how is everyone anyway? Yes, I hope you're all well. Any news from me? No news from me. The first or the next episode 5.2, episode 5.2 of the Millennium Falcon build, the Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon, is live on my channel right now in early access for both Patreon supporters and for YouTube channel members. If you are a YouTube channel member, you just need to go to the community tab or go to the members only playlist and you'll see the video in there. You won't see anything if it won't be playable if you're not a member. You should, although having said that, you should actually get a notification because it posts into the community tab, and you should get a notification if you remember. But if you haven't, it's just go into the community tab, or just go to my playlists and go to the members only playlist. You'll see it in there. For Patreons, it's available for you as well, and that is, you just need to go to, if you haven't seen it elsewhere, just go to Patreon, to my page on Patreon, patreon.com/modelmakingguru, and there's a post on there when you can watch the video. If you're a patron, it'll let you watch it, and you basically get to watch it advert free for the first week before everybody else does. So go and check it out. Not right now, obviously, because you're watching my stream, but you get to watch it with no adverts or anything like that for a week, as a way of saying thank you for being a patron or a YouTube supporter. Get these little nubs off. I do have some new nippers arriving from the Games Workshop, from the e-models in a day or two. Because I've got these, of course, which are my heavy-duty cutting through steel cable ones, and I've got these, my God hands, which are the most beautiful things ever, but I'm terrified of cutting anything off, doing anything with them that isn't delicate little Gunpla. And I needed a middle ground, really, especially if I like doing things like the Falcon, like getting some of the fine delicate parts off the sprues on the Falcon. Not really, it's kind of okay for these, but not ideal. And I wanted some middle ground, so I've ordered some nippers from the e-models. I forgot what I've ordered now. I think I've got some Mr. Nippers, Mr. Hobby's Mr. Nipper. I like the way they say Mr. Hobby, Mr. Nipper, something, I don't know, some kind of cutters anyway. They should be here in a day or two. I shall let you know what they're like. I did order the Meng starter kit that comes with like nippers and a file and stuff, because Paul told me it was pretty good, and I have to say, the little file, genius. That is a brilliant little file. Comes with a little 15 quid Meng starter kit. You get a leather pack, you get a little craft knife with about 5 or 6 spare blades, you get this little file, and you get a pair of side cutters or a pair of nippers. Nippers kind of garbage. I got them out of the packaging and the spring fell out straight away. And they just, Paul says they're quite nice, but I didn't like them. There's no feedback with the spring. It just, like this little spring here on the main ones, I got them out and it went beep. Oh, okay. And it wouldn't stay in place. So yeah, they got relegated to the backup spare pair bin straight away. They're there if I need them. They're all right. They're a bit mangly. They mangle the plastic a bit, but then they are just for beginners. They're just absolute beginner type nippers. They're not like proper hardcore ones. I've ordered the Mr. Nippers ones, the ones with the green handles. There's 2 kits. What starter kit is that, Fox? It's on e-models. It's literally, if you just do Meng, if you do a search for side cutters or nippers, I think it's just the Meng starter kit, and it's not a model kit. It's just a pack with like a blade and was it blade, nippers, file. There's something else, but I can't remember now. Oh, tweezers. Yes, it's got these tweezers, which are these are actually quite nice as well. These are actually really nice. It's MTS009, but I don't know if that's just the tweezers. Coming out a little bit there. We'll reinforce that. It's a nice little. You get a nice little leather pouch, and you get all, the tweezers and stuff are really good. It's just the nippers are not. If you're just getting nippers, don't get that pack for the nippers alone. The file and the tweezers are worth it. And the blade, you've got spare. It gives you a spare knife with a blade. That'll be all right. But yeah, it's not really worth it just for the cutters. That I need to put over there, out of the way. I need to get my knife of Scrapetons. Osric 9000, belly, sausage, bap, good northern lad there. Sausage, bap, bench, gluing the fuselage of the big HE219 together. Redland says icebreaker. Mordraka says Fox, nope. I don't know what that was relating to. Mordraka, bench, scouts, and Fox most loved old Games Workshop SM kit. You're making the damn motorbikes, aren't you? You heretic. Why would you voluntarily make the Space Marine motorbikes? Damn it. Don't post pictures in the boom hut, you'll just trigger me. Ian's car says bench now, and for dinner tonight is roast chicken breast with Parma ham and cheese tortellini. Ooh, yes. Chamchi Gimbap is in. Hello, welcome Chamchi. One of my newest patrons is Chamchi. welcome, welcome. So yeah, well, by the time we've got this cleaned up, we shall see if my cunning magnetizational plan comes to fruition and works. It might not. It might be a resounding failure, but it might work. I think the only thing I've magnetized before now is a couple of armigers when I wanted to magnetize some bits of them, and that actually went quite well, to be honest. Fox Nope Conquest. I don't know what you just saying random words now. I'm lost. You've lost me. More Draka. Oh, you mean for the Space Marine bikes? Oh, I've got you. I understand what you mean. Sorry, yes, I understand. Yeah, you're doing Conquest. Yeah, I may have accidentally skipped past them just for the bit and might leave them to last. I may or may not stream building those. I may decide for my own sanity and for the sake of not having a stream full of swearing to just not bother streaming those. Now, I am cleaning these down a bit, but I'm not being too careful with these nubs because these are right down the middle, and what I'll probably do is trim these nubs as I get rid of the gap down the middle. I've said it a million times before, but when you're putting something together, it's like a two-piece, any kind of tubular type thing like this, where you've got two sides of a hull or a fuselage. Don't clean off the nubs before you assemble it, because say you've got a nub here, and you get this one, you sand it down, it's like, and you get that one, you clean it and you sand it down, and then you put it together, and suddenly this one is like 5 microns lower than the other half, this one side, and then you get a step, and it's like, oh, it's better to leave a little tiny rough nub, get it all glued together, and then sand the gaps away, and you'll sand the nub away, and then you make sure you get a constant surface then rather than a step. Because if you're sanding 2 separate pieces, you're not going to sand them the same amount, so don't do that. I was watching Chappie earlier. Does anyone know of a kit? I don't think I'd not heard of any Chappie kits. Nim says, bench highlighting my ball before decals and powders. That just sounds so wrong in many ways. Belly working on that right now, trying to decide. Something with noodles. Or that big burger place that's like 5 minutes away from you that you keep getting food from. I'd say noodles, actually. Tubes, says Model Making Mayhem. Yes, how is... Oh, hang on, yes. Candygram says there's a very expensive kit available for the Chappie Moose. I forgot about the Moose. The Moose is... I've not seen Chappie. I forgot about the Moose. Yes, there is a kit from Weta Workshop of the Moose. It's mostly resin. It's like £1 billion. It's massive. But it's Weta Workshop, so it's a fantastic quality piece. But yes, there is the Moose. You can buy a kit of the Moose. Belly had roast pork with all the trimmings, says Dexterous Crafter. Bench continuing the hedgehog whilst it's going my way. Yay! Yeah, look up the Moose. It's one of the members in the Boom Hut has been building it as well. It's a fantastic, beautiful, massive model. It's not cheap because it's all resin. And I assume they probably did a limited run, being Weta. It was their first ever actual model kit that they produced. Excluding Wingnut Wings, that's a whole different company, but actual Weta themselves, it was the first thing they released as a model to the public. And then after that, they did that sort of tabletop robot combat game, which was called something like Giant Freaking Robots, wasn't it? I can't remember now. Which are like small robots in that vein, like a tabletop miniature sized robots. Those are quite good. Okay, so we're just getting rid of this little mould line down the exhausty pipes. Anyway, what's been going on? So, yes, where was I? Ages ago, talking about stuff. What's been going on? The Falcon episode is up. That's in early access now. That'll then be released to everybody else. I'll put it over there. That'll be released to everybody else next Sunday. So if you're not a patron or a YouTube member, don't panic. It'll be up for you next Sunday. What else has been going on? I got together all the footage from the latest episode because I did all the cockpit and stuff. The cockpit's now painted, the interior, but I've not done the figures yet. But it was like 2.5 hours of footage. I'm like, oh, I've had to split it into more than one episode. So the episode just kind of stops after half an hour. Like, bing, stop, titles. There you go. It's just because I had so much footage and I hadn't recorded a bit in the middle saying, right, that's going to do us. We'll come back next time because I didn't plan on it being like 2 hours of footage. Oh yeah. Chamchi Gimbak asks, will you do more Gunpla? Absolutely. I have Gunpla in my stash. I have the high grade Kushashatria, which I really want to get done. I have the 160 no grade Strike Freedom. It's not the one with the lighting in it. It's because that's the perfect. That was the lightning free. It's just the Strike Freedom, but 160 scale, but not perfect grade. No grade. It's got like 12 parts. It was a very old kit. I've got that. I've got a pink Zaku to do. I've got some other bits and bobs. But I did get burnt out on Gunpla, so that's why I jumped into the Warhammer, because I got really burnt out on them. Because whereas something like Warhammer or other kits, you can just build them and have fun and paint them. With Gunpla, I was getting too stressed out with all the planning and logical thinking and stuff you have to do. You can't just build them and paint them. You have to have 1,000 things on sticks. So I got burnt out and took a break from those. But yes, I do have Gunpla in my stash. There will be more. Why am I not using my... Do you know, let's get rid of these bits here. If you watched my stream yesterday when I was playing Skyrim, yeah, you remember them shouty kids? They're back. They're outside. Oh well, never mind. He says, "Oh my god, $500." Yes, for a massive resin kit, that is actually very cheap. What that kit is, it sounds like a lot of money, but that is actually quite cheap for that kind of kit. $500. Reggie Model, speaking of which, did you get a parcel from Samurai Japan? I've had a few small parcels, but they're in quarantine, but not anything from Japan that I'm aware of. I guess it's still on its way. Now, if you have sent me stuff, by the way, I do need to apologise. If you have sent me stuff over the last few weeks, it may well be that I don't get a chance to film a mystery package time and thank you directly for it. Because what I do is when I get a package from someone, if somebody sends me something, whatever it may be, I like to film a mystery package time because it's my way of saying thank you directly. Rather than just sending them a message saying, hey, mate, thanks for that. I like to film it. Unfortunately, because of the, chocolate velociraptor pandemonium, what we're doing at the minute is everything that comes in the house, all packages and stuff, are being quarantined for, between 3 and 5 days. We basically get them in, spray them down, and it sits there for 3 to 5 days. Just to give anything on it a chance to die off. Because I'm shielding Mama Fox, so I can't take any risks. What it does mean, though, is because I've got a mixture of packages that you guys have sent me and packages of stuff I've ordered myself and things Mama Fox has ordered. It's basically just a big pile of packages, and when I spray them to get them, disinfected, half the labels just fade away. You can't read who it's for. So we basically have a big pile of boxes for me and Mama Fox, and we're not really sure whose is whose. So it may well be that we just have to open them all. So apologies if you send me something and I don't film a mystery package times. I will thank you if you send me something, but it might not be in a video because we just don't know whose is whose now. It's like, is this yours or mine? I don't know. The label's blank. Thanks. So, yeah. But yeah, it's also the worst thing is I'm still waiting for my Modfather Ultra Xbox to turn up, and that's going to be maybe another week or so. It takes about 2 or 3 weeks when you order it for them to make it for you. So that's going to be another week or two, and then when it turns up, I've got to sit there looking at it for like 3 or 4 days before I can open the box. I'm like, it's going to stress me out. That is, I'm going to be like so triggered by it. I'm going to be sorely tempted just to bypass quarantine, but you know what? It's the name of the company. I have no idea where it's from. I don't think I have. I may have done, but I don't think I have. I have got another... Did I open that one? I've got another one from Chris, haven't I? From the chili place, the same chili place that you did. I don't think I've opened that one yet. I need to open that. That's the other thing. We've got so used to sitting around waiting that after about the first 4 or 5 weeks of doing it, it comes to the point now where a parcel will turn up and we'll put it in quarantine and then forget about it. But a week later, we're like, oh crap, I've got a parcel there I need to open. Oh. Yes. So. But it does, of course, get stressful when you've then got something that you can't keep in quarantine, because we're trying our best to keep everything in quarantine. But of course, there's some things we can't do that with. You know, if the contents are perishable, I can't put it in quarantine for 3 days if it contains, like, you know, something that needs to go in the fridge straight away. So sometimes we are having to take things on trust and just hope that it's all okay, because, you know, we order some milk or something like that because we're having to order everything online. We get like a pack of milk. We have to put it in the fridge. We can't leave that sitting around. We can't leave it in quarantine. So we have to just hope and pray that, well, let's just say we have to hope. We don't do praying nonsense. We have to hope that it turns out all right and we don't pick up any nasties. But anything else, though, just sits in quarantine for a few days. Swig of the coffee. Looks to the side of my 1,000 things on sticks, says Champchi FML. Yeah. That's the one thing that I got burnt out on Gunpla with. I love Gunpla to bits. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore them, but it got to the point where I was getting too stressed by it. And the problem is, I don't know where these exhaust actually go. It doesn't actually show where these go properly. Do they just go here? Oh, I see. The real problem was that I see they're just sitting there. Is that what they? Okay, that makes sense. The real problem is that I'm trying to do this and talk and glue at the same time. Let me just glue this. Yeah, the real problem was that I love doing them, but I've always said I'm a painter, not a builder. But at the same time, I'm also a lazy painter and not a builder. And for the longest of times, it'd be like working on a master grade, and you've got, you know, 1,000 things on sticks, and it's like, oh, it's just, and then you've got to do the primer coat, and then you've got to do the base layers, and then you've got to do another, and it was taking the fun away, because I was just basically managing things on sticks constantly. It was right frustrating. I mean, it was worth it at the end, but it wasn't fun that much. I wasn't enjoying it as much. I got burned out, and at the time I was getting burned out. Then I kind of suddenly realised I could take half the stress away by just building my Gunpla in a fixed pose. Because I'm there and I'm trying to do all this stuff and have lots of things on sticks and trying to make sure that the way I assemble it means that I can still move the arms and legs around and, you know, have posing. And I suddenly thought to myself, why don't I just not do the posing bit? Not going to work, is it? I need some pegs. Why don't I just build it in a fixed pose? It doesn't need to have moving arms. If I'm going to spend 100 hours painting a Gunpla, you'd better believe that that Gunpla is going to go into a display cabinet and never be touched ever again. Because if you put 100 hours into something and then somebody plays with it, you go over and you break their arms. That's quite simply put. So, yeah, my nephews know not to go anywhere near the display cabinet. Ooh, that peg's a bit knackered. So I suddenly thought, well, hang on, if that's the case, why the hell am I worrying about all the joints being posable? It's completely irrelevant. Just treat it like any other model and just glue it together. So that's what I did with George's Cesabe. I built it in a fixed pose, and it was actually, there's still a little bit of posing going on because there's still some little joints, like you can still move. I had to be able to take it apart to ship it, so you can pull the arms off and you can pull the torso off if you need to, but it just made life a lot easier, because then instead of having like 1,000 components on sticks, what I used to do was basically get all the inner frame parts and prime them and paint them and then build the inner frame. When I did George's Cesabe, I had the torso, the head in a frame, the head in a frame, the torso in a frame, the arm in a frame, and then the hips and the legs and feet all fully assembled as best you can on the Cesabe. And then they were glued at the knees and elbows and locked in place. And instead of having 1,000 things on sticks, I had 2 arms, a head, torso, and the hips with the legs attached. And that was it. And I could spray that inner frame in one go. So it used to go from spending all day painting the inner frame to literally having primed and painted it in about an hour. I mean, it's a bit of a pain holding, you know, manoeuvring the entire hip and 2 legs together, but you get there in the end. But yeah, so that did actually make it a lot easier. So when I go back to doing more Gunpla now, you can guarantee I will be doing the glue it in a fixed pose method. Because, yeah, I'm not going to go back to doing them like that. Dad says his mojo is back finally after months. Yes, good lad. Has anyone done the Shinanju Stein version cart? I have. It's over there in my cabinet, and I can't get it for you because it'll just be a nightmare to get out of the cabinet. It's a very, very nice kit. If you mean the master grade, it's a beautiful kit. Do it. It's a very, very nice mobile suit. The only thing is the head doesn't work on it, but hey, yes, it's a very, very nice kit. It has issues holding the gun, but then they all do. The gun looks fantastic. The beam rifle. Yes, don't quite just get the Shinanju Stein. It's worth it. Trust me. Phil East. Hi, Phil. Phil East says, I've been plugging away but keep starting new stuff and not finishing anything. Too much time watching YouTube and getting ideas. Yeah. That's the curse we all get, is never getting around to finishing anything. Now, while that's drying, I've just remembered that I need to get myself a container for the bits. It's just a bit dark in here today, but I don't know why. Those bits there and those bits there. I'm not going to do anything with that just yet. What I'm going to do is something that I did last week. If you remember last time, I didn't really bother with the mould line down underneath because you're not going to see that with the tracks, and it's a scenery piece. You're never going to see it, so it's not a problem. But I did have a little bit of a dimple at the back there that I filled with some sprue goo. And sprue goo, if you don't know, is just Tamiya extra thin with polystyrene, bits of polystyrene plastic card mixed in to make it into like a thick polystyrene. It's basically liquid plastic, liquid polystyrene. So all I need to do now is file that down. So let's do that now. The way sprue goo works, it's got two ingredients: the Tamiya extra thin and polystyrene. You apply it, you make it thick enough that it's a stodgy blob. And then when you apply it, the glue evaporates away and flashes off and just leaves behind a blob of polystyrene. And what you're doing is you're actually filling a gap in your model with more polystyrene. You're filling a polystyrene model with more polystyrene. And it's going to have the strongest bond of any filler you'll ever use, because it's not anything, it's not like a totally alien piece of material. You're filling a gap with more plastic. It's the most sandable and the most carvable filler you'll ever use, again, because it's just polystyrene. Whereas some fillers and putties go a bit grainy and you can't really sculpt them, or well, you can't really, do a lot with them because they crumble a little bit. I'm just very carefully sanding this flat. Give it a bit of a zizz with this one. There we go. A bit of a thing sticking up there. Let's just get rid of that. I think reasonably hold it to the light. No, not quite. The trick is that you make a little bead of the sprue goo, like you do with any filler. You make a bead of it over the thing you want to fill, and then you sand it away. You sand the bead of sprue goo away, so all you're left with is the sprue goo that's in the hole that you filled. Get rid of everything else. And there you go. Bob's your uncle, fun is your aunt. That's now sanded and done and done. Fantastic. One that gets primed, you'll never know there was a gap there. The only reason I did that bit there was a little sort of dimply gap in the plastic, which I couldn't get rid of with just the normal squeezing the glue out method. There you go. That was a big blob of sprue goo. It's now, you can still see it because it's white, but it's not sticking up. It's completely flush with the surface, and when that gets primer on it, you won't even see that. So there you go, sprue goo. My favourite filler. It's the most carvable and scribable. Chamchi says, how are the Warhammer plastics compared to the Bandai plastics? They are delightful. They are delightful. Bear in mind, obviously, Warhammer kits are proper glue kits. Bandai plastics, Bandai plastics are weird anyway, because Bandai plastic polystyrene isn't baked. So it's not normal polystyrene. You can't get a thinned paint wash all over Bandai plastic because it will destroy the plastic. Whereas on this, you can put whatever you want on it. So Bandai plastic is unbaked polystyrene. It's quite thin and delicate, but it's a nice plastic. These are more chunky. It's heavy duty plastic. All their plastic is heavy duty. It's kind of softer. It's a softer one to work with. It's a really nice plastic. My two favourite manufacturers are Games Workshop and Bandai. They do different things. They're not, you know, in the same market, but they do different things. But they are my two favourite manufacturers. Do you use green stuff or milliput much, Fox? I have milliput. I've used milliput. I like milliput. It's really good. I used it to rebuild the knee joint on my Mega Size RX 78-2 that exploded. It is really good, but I'm not the makey type, so I'm not the best at using anything like that. He says it's good. It's great for adding beards and things like that. Yeah, I'm not a carver sculptor type, so to me it's just I used it for filling little gaps and stuff, and it's fine. I just find it a lot less hassle just to use Sprue glue. But for a big gap, for little tiny gaps and dimples, Sprue glue is fine. For anything major, like, you know, if there was a really big gap, then that would be something you'd have to fill with, maybe something like fillers and putties and stuff like that. So yeah. While I'm waiting for that to set, I'll clean up this crane arm thing. Put that over there. Right, what are we doing on this crane arm? I usually use 4 or 5 sheets of Dettol wipes to clean down stuff I've bought from the shops, but that's just me, says Model Making Mayhem. What we do is I've got a spray bottle of, quite simply, just washing up liquid, diluted down, because soap breaks apart the lipid outer layer of the chocolate velociraptor virus, and it just kills it instantly. So you don't need to go all complicated. You can just use, that's why they say wash your hands with soap and water a lot. You can just use soap and water. Any kind of soap will break apart those lipid coating, and that just makes the whole thing just go like that. So we just basically, if it turns up, we just spray the living crap out of it and put it in the quarantine area. And leave it for a few days in the hope that obviously the spraying on the outside will kill off most of any nasties on the outside. And hopefully, as I just move my dog tags, hopefully by the time we then come to open it 2, 3 or 4 days later, if there's anything on the inside, it will have since, you know, died. So more just a case of giving it a few days. Pain in the bum, and we do tend to like suddenly realise, oh, hang on, I forgot about that parcel. John Bias is in. Hey, John. Glad to see you, buddy. I know you don't get to make it to anybody's streams quite often, but nice to see you in one of mine. I don't have any buttons for you, I'm afraid. Yeah, I've only got me. I mean, Ted.
Slap it on.
But I've only got room for one button on my control deck because I'm not like Chris where he's got like 100 buttons. I've only got 15 buttons, and yeah, they're all taken up. So sadness. But I'm not going to complain because Chris gifted me that set of buttons, and they are really good. They fall over a bit every now and then, but I can live with that. Easily fixed. I know I curse about them sometimes, but they are brilliant. Cool, I have it on back order. What, the Sinanju? Yeah, it's a beautiful kit. It's one of the nicest master grades I've built. I've not built millions, but it is one of the nicer ones. Plus, it looks fantastic, and it's one of those mobile suits that, if you're going to give it a full paint job, you can do, but you can actually get away with not painting it. When I did mine, if you have a look on my channel, in fact, when you finish watching here, go to my YouTube homepage and go click on playlists. I actually have a playlist for that kit, for the Master Grade Sinanju Stein, and I built it as a budget beginner build. I set myself a budget, and I said, right, I'm going to pretend I'm an absolute beginner with very little experience, and I've got a really limited budget. Let's see what I can do. And I basically took you through the whole process of building it with a fixed budget. So I didn't paint it, but I did some weathering. I think I did too much chipping on it, but it still looks great even with minimal painting. You don't have, because it's white armor. If you just matte coat the white armor, it looks fantastic. Yeah, it's a great beginner kit. In that it's no more complex than any other master grade kit, but it's just it will allow you to get away with not painting it, which is nice. Where's my knife? I do have, going back to Philly's question, he said about green stuff. I've not tried green stuff yet, but I did buy a shed load of it when I got my Forge World Macarius Vanquisher. And I am hoping not to have to use it, because it's a resin kit. I might have to use it a bit. But I got a load of it, so I'm hoping that I'll get a chance to use that on the Macarius Vanquisher, or the Malcadoran Furnace that George got me for as a Secret Santa. So I've got 2 Forge World Deathcore resin tank kits that I really can't wait to build. I might do that after I finish my Millennium Falcon, actually. I don't know yet. We shall see. But yeah, I got some green stuff on that, just on the off chance that there might be some, filling and stuff to do on that. I mean, that's too big. I was only going to C12 the chess pieces, the rest would stay standard. What's C12? What's C12, dude? I don't know what C12 is. Yeah, I mean, when I did mine, I say, have a look at the playlist if you want some ideas. I literally didn't paint any of the armour. I did some detailed painting on the inner frame. I left the inner frame as its natural colour because it's kind of close to German grey that I would have done it anyway. And I did some chipping and stuff and some detail painting, little bits and bobs. But nothing too major. But I aimed it for people working on a real low budget and absolute beginners. Because, when people start out, they don't have a billion paints and a billion different products. They have like the bare bones of stuff. So I tailored it towards them. Oh, C1 Metallizer. I've got you. Yeah, C1 Metallizer is nice, dude. It's good stuff, that. So we've got here a ribbed tube. Ribbed for his pleasure. A ribbed tube, and they're a pain to get the mould line off because it goes into all the little ribs. So I'm going to have to sit here now, get my scribing tool. Ugh. I don't mind it on like a plasma coil on a weapon, but when it's an entire tube like that, it's a right pain. I want to do my magnet thing and see if it worked. Also, it's quite hard to keep a hold of. I can't grip it. Being awkward. You've never thought of using a scribing tool before for this kind of thing. They do work quite well for getting rid of... Well, normally they work quite well for getting rid of mould lines in ribbed textures, but this one's being a pain for some reason. Yeah, C1 Metallizer is really good. If you've not watched my Mega Size Unicorn build, again, go into my playlists. I actually did the Mega Size Unicorn, and I actually did the whole thing in C1 Metallizer because I couldn't be bothered painting it. I was like, we'll do it in C1, see what it comes out like. So I did all the armour in C1 Metallizer on a 3-foot tall Gunpla. That was fun. But go and have a look, because I tried different base colours. I tried like a gloss black on some panels, and I tried painting silver metallics underneath the C1 Metallizer on others, just to get some variation in the panel colourings, and it worked all right. C1 would look good on the Sinanju Stein. Okay, better. Sometimes it's worth taking the time to do the fiddly bits. Now, some people have accused me in the past of being really lazy when I do stuff like this. Like, so why didn't you do that? And I'm like, because I just couldn't be bothered. And people have said that I'm lazy. And you know what? They're absolutely right. Couldn't be more accurate. I am a lazy builder. And that's why I like to think I'm in a good place to show beginners how to do stuff. Because, a beginner isn't going to know the most advanced technique. And they'll probably find the most advanced technique completely terrifying. So, what I tend to do is say, don't worry about that. Don't do it that way. Do it this way. It looks great. You'll be fine. You'll enjoy it. Don't spend weeks trying to figure out how the hell to use chipping fluids. Just paint your chips on. There you go. Lovely. You know why? Because it's less effort. Still looks good. I like to give people a jumping off point. Give them the basics of skills, and then they can go off and learn more complicated techniques if they want to. So it is kind of good being lazy sometimes, because you'll find more creative ways, or I try and find more creative ways of doing things that aren't just, you know, I hate the old, we do it this way because it's always been done that way. Well, why? How about you do it a different way? And I seem to remember Bill Gates once said, when he was setting up Microsoft, he had no interest in hiring the most hardest. What was it he said? Something along the lines of he never employs people that are hard workers. He'd rather employ lazy people, because lazy people will always find the easiest way to do something, and that usually ends up a lot cheaper and a lot better. They'll be more creative about finding easier ways to do things, and he says that's what I want. That's more important to me. It's like, it's true. Absolutely true. Lazy people need to unite and stand up and say, give us all the best jobs because we're awesome, and we'll get it better. We'll do it better for you. We'll make everything better. Yeah, so I'm not looking forward. I'm both looking forward to, and on real like bated breath, and also not looking forward to the day that my my Xbox arrives, my Xbox Mod Father, because it's got to go into quarantine. And I'll be looking at this big cardboard box, and I'll be saying to myself, there's 130,000 games in that box. God damn it. And I know what I'm like. I'll lose interest in everything around me for the 3 or 4 days it's in quarantine. Right, shall I make a video? Nah, I can't be bothered. Do you want some food? No, I can't be bothered. I want my Xbox. Oh, wow, steady Neris. That could have gone wrong, couldn't it? So I'm both looking forward to it and not looking forward to it. That could be fun. Paul Di Tomaso's in. Hey Paul, welcome buddy. How was your snooze, dude? How was your nap? I struggle with the rib lines. It would brushing extra thin there work to melt the mold line? It would do a little bit, and in fact I'm going to do that myself just to smooth off the scraping that I've done. Handy tip, if you do use your scribing tool to get rid of any mold lines like that, just run over with a very tiny amount of the extra thin. Same as when you do filing and sanding or drilling out holes or anything and you get a little bit of roughness to the plastic. Go over with a little bit of extra thin, it'll melt the plastic surface and smooth it off. Using it just using that to get rid of the seam line though, the mold line probably won't get rid of it because they're usually quite pronounced. But a little bit of scribing. I mean, I know you can't see it there, but it's literally, what, 2 or 3 minutes of scribing and then a little quick layer of extra thin, and that looks brilliant now. You wouldn't know there was a mold line down the middle of it. I mean, you can see the mold line there, but I can't really get the scribing tool in there to... God, my hands are everywhere today. I can't really get in there to get rid of this one. Oh, that one's quite pronounced, actually. I can't even get in there with a file. File it down. So I may have to live with the seam line or the mold line on the upper bit, which is unfortunately the bit you can see. I can't really get the tool in there to get rid of them. I can't get in there with my sanding stick. I may have a smaller... Hang on. I've got my little thinny stick there. Yeah. See, on that one, what I might do there, you see, there's an option to get creative here. I can't really get into there to get rid of that line, but it is quite pronounced. So if I do my best with this thing first, get rid of the most of it. What I like to do, again, partly because of my laziness, I try and find easier ways to do things. I hate filling gaps and I hate doing like anything like that. It bores me. Again, I'm a painter, not a builder. So what you'll sometimes see me do is, for example, clean up a mould line or a gap with plastic card, make some greebles. I did that bit there because I couldn't get to it to sand it or file it. Or on this, for example, if I can't get rid of that pronounced sort of seam line down there, what I might do is, for example, make a little piece of like a greasy rag that hangs over that tube, like somebody's been cleaning it and they've just left the greasy rag hanging over the pipe that covers most of it up. And I'll just make a little piece of greasy rag out of some tissue and some white glue. It's like a little bit of diorama on your model, and that will be another way to clean up that little gap. If you can't get to it to clean it, If there's an imperfection in your model that you can't actually physically get rid of because you can't get to it, try covering it up with something. You know, I've done that before. And that can be quite a fun, creative way sometimes to hide things. That's why I love doing weathered models, because clean, shiny models are rubbish for me. I can't be doing with that because I can't hide any mistakes. But a weathered model, you know, if you've got something you've not done very well, you can hide it by weathering over it, or you can hide it with add-on bits like, you know, an oily rag hanging over the tube or the pipe. Or maybe this is in storage and it's got a piece of tarpaulin hanging over it, which looks really good and just happens to cover up a bit of seam line that you couldn't get rid of. All ways to do it that's kind of fun and creative. There's lots of options open to you. Dad says, don't forget the like button, folks. It all helps. Yes, if you don't know this, by the way, every time you watch a YouTube video from someone whose content you like, always give them a thumbs up on the like button. If you don't like it, obviously gives them a thumbs down. But if you do like the content, if you don't like the content, then they don't deserve your thumb up. But if you do enjoy the content and you want them to be able to keep making more content, hit the thumbs up. It helps their video go higher in the listings on YouTube when somebody does a search. And the higher people's videos are listed, the more people will see them, and the more people that see them, the more ad revenue that person makes, and that means they can keep making the videos then because they're getting an income from it. And especially with videos like we do, like tutorial videos, the more people that see it, more importantly, the more people are learning what we're teaching. So you're helping that get to a wider audience. Always hit the like button. Not just for me, obviously for me, yes, but I mean for everybody else as well. Right, that's going to do for that. I don't mind the odd bit of rough sanding because it's going to be a piece of utility equipment anyway. Piece of industrial equipment that looks grubby and broken. Seam line in there. Let's just... Have anyone told you that watching you build and paint is therapeutic? I've had people tell me they fall asleep when I'm doing stuff, and that's probably more accurate. Thank you very much, though. I mean, in my mind, I'm just talking at 10 to the dozen and waffling while I'm doing nonsense, but I'm using rattle cans. The best I got was from Tamiya Gloss Black. Oh yeah, if you're using rattle cans, Tamiya Gloss Blacks are good. If it's a primer, you can put it over paint. Yeah, you probably work with that. That'd be absolutely fine. The one thing you must never do with CO Metalizer, though, if you use a glossy surface like a gloss primer or a gloss paint, obviously prime it first if you're using a gloss paint. But the important thing is that you don't. What some people think is if they make the black even glossier by polishing it and buffing it, it'll be even more shiny. But it won't, because it'll stop the C1 Metalizer adhering. However the paint goes on, that's how it goes on. That's just don't start altering it. I know I read one guy that in the blurb it says if you use a gloss black primer, don't be tempted to polish it to get it even more glossy, because that will just ruin it. Put the pegs back over there. Eggs. Have a quick look at chat. If I had an emulator with 130,000 games, I'd be searching for the most obscure and unusual ones. Oh, trust me, it's got everything. It's got everything on it. I mean, we're talking from Intellivision and ColecoVision, which weren't even over here in the UK. We're talking PlayStation 1, SNES, NES, Super Famicom, CD, whatever, Amiga, Commodore 64, Spectrum. It's got any platform you can think of. It's got Atari Lynx games on it, Jaguar games, all that kind of stuff. Amiga, I've probably got ST games on there as well. Now, here's the weird thing. I've built this whole thing with the magnets on. I've not even sorted the magnets out yet. How is that possible? I built the whole thing so it wouldn't fall out. I've got magnets, and that is just taking the mickey now. That is just having a laugh. That's all that effort I went to, and I didn't need to. God damn it! Oh well, we better see it through to the end. So, is that going to be... Okay, what I can do... I'm going to run a lot of glue on the inside of that. I don't know if it's in contact with the other side, but just in case it is, I'm going to slather glue in there of the quick drying stuff, just to double my chances. I'll put gluage. Give that a minute. Chamshi asks, what are my go-to sanding grades? Well, for a long time I've been using the Ultimate Modelling Products ones, which don't, outside of the packaging they come in, don't have grades. I tend to use their squishy grey one and their white one that's rough, that's smooth. But then outside of that, I tend to stick to, these are the ones Kenneth got me. I've got like 6 and 800. I don't often have to go down as low as a 220, but I usually tend to stick around between sort of 4 to 800 grit. I don't really go much high. I don't do all the high polishing because I paint my models. If you're doing unpainted Gunpla, of course, you have to go up to your high polishing grades. It's a bit weird. And if you're doing anything with C1 Metalizer, you want that surface to be as smooth as possible. So if you've need to sand a piece of Gunpla armor that you're going to put into C1 Metalizer and you need to sand it, you need to start at 400 grit for the main sanding and then work your way up to 1200, 2000, 3000, maybe even 6000 grit. You need to go up till it looks like bare plastic, because if you've got C1 Metalizer on a surface and it's not smooth, you'll see it'll stand out a mile. So yeah, you want to make the extra effort there. Right, so we're going to take a punt on this. Risk it for a biscuit. This is going to go one of two ways. I'm going to try and get the tiniest amount of glue on that, if I can. Why is no glue coming out? Let me do a quick test. Oh, there we go. Right, I'll do it a different way, actually. I'll get some glue out on a piece of a bit of plastic. For safety, I shall get myself a cocking tail stick. Glue. I only want a little bit of stick at the start because I can add more glue later. We'll get some of that on the magnet. So just a tiny amount. And then if I'm lucky, I can lock that in there. Done. Now if I'm lucky, that's actually in contact with that piece of plastic. I'll give that a minute. Giving it a minute. We'll give it a minute or two just to do a bit. And I've not put a lot of it on there, but I didn't need to, because what I can do once it's on there is go in with some thin CA and run that around the edge of the magnet just to lock it in place. But this way, at least I know the two magnets line up. So fingers crossed. I don't believe for a minute. I suspect what happens when I take this off, it'll just bring the other magnet with it. That's entirely possible because it might not even be in contact with the plastic. Does it have Gauntlet? If so, I'm sold. I don't know. It has a massive collection of arcade games from ever. It may even have like Sega CD. It's got Neo. I think it's got some Neo Geo. It's got. I don't know if it has Dreamcast. It might not have Dreamcast. It's got PlayStation 1. I don't think it can do Dreamcast. I don't think it can emulate Dreamcast well enough. But yeah, it's. Paul says he's doing okay. At work now, and of course the back pain is still there. I go to the specialist on Thursday. Take care of yourself, buddy. Do take care of yourself. Huge success. Oh, look at that. Who is your daddy? Your daddy, who is he? Who is your daddy? Yeah, now what I'm going to do, I need a little tiny amount of glue on there, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get myself. Now I can't recommend these enough. If ever you use CA glue, especially for like photo etch and stuff, get you a pack of these little filament applicators. Because thin CA glue, like watery thin CA glue, I used to hate it. Because you can't put it into a pile and dip it on with a cocktail stick because it runs like water. Unless you get some of these. And then it suddenly becomes the best thing in the world. If I take this off, if I take this, there we go. I take that off. I put that on there. All I need to do now is make sure it's working. It's clear so you can see the glue going up the tube. So you can kind of, it takes almost no pressure at all to get the glue coming out there. So you've got to be really careful. going up the tube. It really is like water, this stuff. There you go. It's now surrounding the magnet. I can get myself a piece of tissue. Take that off. My good advice to you is every time you use CA glue, wipe the end and put the lid back on. That way you help avoid your CA glue getting gummed up. Now see how I did that quickly, and even then I still got glue on my finger. The one thing with thin CA glue is it's a pain in the butt for getting everywhere. I'm going to put some kicker on this, 1 second. Oh, I love that smell. It smells like DIY shop. If ever you used to, like, wherever you are, especially in the UK, if you used to have a shop where you used to go to buy, like, you know, chisels and washers and fuses and things, like a proper old DIY shop before the days of B&Q and stuff, hardware store, Americans would call it. It smells like that. Let's give that a second to flash. Because obscure and unusual games are the best, says Model Maker Mayhem. Well, the great thing is I've ordered myself, if you don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, I've ordered a Mod Father Ultra, which is an original 2001 Xbox that's modded. It's tricked out to up the wazoo. It's modded out. It's got an 8TB hard drive. It's got 700 Xbox One, original Xbox games on it. It's got 600 PlayStation 1 games and like 120,000 other games from pretty much anything you can think of. I've got myself a simple USB keyboard and mouse and a couple of adapters, so I can play all the, you know, Commodore 64 games and stuff that require a keyboard and mouse, and the Amiga games that require a mouse. So yeah, I've got a little keyboard and mouse. I'm lucky enough, they send you like a Xbox to HDMI cable adapter with it, but I'm actually lucky enough to have the original high definition pack that you used to get, which was like I use component, and you put it into that, and it can then split up the optical audio my TV actually has component inputs. They're kind of compressed into a couple of ports, but it sort of has components, so I can get away with it. So I can set it to like 720p, and it'd be like yes. And what I'm hoping is, here's my plan. I'm not going to be buying a capture card anytime ever because they're too expensive, and my computer can't deal with it. But I had a sudden thought yesterday. I wonder if it's possible, because the Xbox One has an HDMI input and you can feed your cable TV box through the Xbox One. And I know you can plug in other consoles to the Xbox One to see them. If you've got like one TV and you've got, say, an Xbox and a PlayStation, you can put the PlayStation through the back of the Xbox, or, you know, or the Nintendo, whatever you want to do. And it's not perfect, but it works. And I thought, what if I could feed the old Xbox into the HDMI in of the Xbox One, and therefore it's playing on my big telly through the Xbox. The Xbox One menu is overlaid on top of the original Xbox gameplay. Can I then stream that to my computer like I do when I do a game stream using the Windows app, the Xbox app on the computer? Will it pick up that? Because then that means I can stream original Xbox gaming to my computer and then stream it to the internet like I'm doing now through OBS. Because otherwise I'd have to have a capture card that it goes into, and then that. But I haven't got HDMI 3. I haven't got USB 3, and they're too expensive. So I'm kind of hoping, I'm going to do some experiments. I'm kind of hoping that when you put some through the HDMI input on the Xbox One, that is transferred across to the desktop app like normal. Like when I stream a game, I've not got a capture card. I'm streaming the gameplay from the Xbox to the computer over my home network, wired, and then capturing that display in OBS. So I'm hoping I can do that. In that case, I can do lots of old retro gaming. If not, though, I can't. Where are we up to? I need me this console. If you go to... Can I put a link in chat? I can't put a link in chat right now. Scaly Models Dad. Scaly Models, I did give you a link to the X Emulation Facebook page. If you would be so kind, if you still got it, to put that in chat. It's a company called X Emulation, and they do the Mod Father Ultra, which is the 8TB Xbox, original Xbox. They do a modded, a 500 gig version, which is cheaper. They do a Xbox 360. They do a PlayStation 2, which is similar to the Mod Father, but it's got the entire PlayStation 2 library on it, not the entire Xbox library. They do what they call a Wii Cube, which is a combination Wii and GameCube. It's all modded together. They do a Dreamcast. They do a PSP. a modded PSP with like a bajillion games on it. I think they do some other stuff as well. They do loads of, like, they even do modded Game Boys. So yeah, go and check them out. If Dad would be so lovely as to put the link in the chat if he's still got it. X Emulation. I don't know if they ship outside the UK. So, and the way you order is they've not got a regular kind of website, and it's kind of confusing the way they put things up. They're a bit ADHD with their posting. So you basically send them a message on the Facebook page. Say, hey guys, I'd like to buy one. Tell me what I need to do, and they'll tell you what you need to do. What glue is that? That was, I've used, that's industrial grade heavy high viscosity super glue, and that's thin CA glue. CA glue is super glue, it's the same thing. I don't normally use super glue. I would say to most people, don't ever use super glue to make a model, unless you have to glue something to something else and they're different materials. Like if I'm gluing plastic to plastic, if I'm making a polystyrene model, I use a polystyrene glue or cement like Tamiya Extra Thin. If I'm gluing ABS together, like say the inner frame of a Gunpla, which might be ABS, if you look at your instruction manual on a Bandai kit at the start, it will tell you whether it's PS, polystyrene, ABS, a PE, which is polyethylene, that's the rubbery, what do you call it? What they call the word's gone out my brain. The little rubber joint things, what they're called, you know what I mean. Anyway, if you're gluing together, say you've got the St Andrew Stein, I don't know if it is, but if the frame for the St Andrew Stein was, for example, ABS, you couldn't use Tamiya Extra Thin to glue it. It wouldn't work. You'd have to use something that does ABS, and I've got Plastic Magic for ABS. A for plastic. Deluxe Plastic Magic is really good. That's one of the glues that glues ABS. There is also Tamiya ABS glue, but it's really thick and stodgy. But if you've got to glue, say, metal to plastic, or metal to glass, or glass to plastic, or two different substances that are completely, you know, like the way Extra Thin works is it melts the polystyrene and it glues it together. If I want to glue metal to plastic, Tamiya Extra Thin can't work. It'll melt the plastic, but it can't melt the metal. So that's where super glue is handy for gluing two things together that are different materials. If you've got to glue photo etch parts or magnets or anything else, super glue is your best bet. Or epoxy glue. Epoxy glue is better. The super glue can be shattered, and if you put it in the freezer, it'll fall apart. So never use super glue to make a model. It's a waste of time. It's a horrible glue. But for things like that, it's perfect. That, yes, I did a magnets. How did they work? I can't tell you. I can't tell you how proud I am that actually worked, because I'm useless at magnets. I'm not a magnet scientist. And yet somehow, if I can make that work, I wish I'd done it on this one now. And I've got no way to retroactively fit that now, because it just, you know, sadness. There's no real way I can conceive of getting something in there, and well, it doesn't really matter. But yes, happy times. I'll get these exhaust pipes on, then we'll have a quick look at the chat and see what's been going on. Yeah, but I don't know if Dad's posted it already, but if you could, Dad, that'd be really cool if you could post the link. Now there are a few companies out there that do like modded consoles and stuff, and I've been waiting and watching for a while. I'll be perfectly honest. Is that even the right way around? I've been waiting and watching for a while, looking at different companies and seeing what they do. And the guys I'm getting mine from, I settled on them because they seem to do the best one for a start. But also, just the feedback and the responses on their Facebook page is just, that tells me they're a really good company. And I've been speaking to the guys now for about a week to sort mine out, and they are really nice guys. So there are other companies out there, the ones that do like Raspberry Pi based systems, but apparently the problem is that it's emulating original Xbox games doesn't really work unless it's through an original Xbox, and then you're not emulating them, you're just playing them on the Xbox. So I've gone for these guys because it's the best way to emulate an original Xbox games is just play it through an original Xbox. So you can't really emulate them very well. So yeah, have a look. Quick look at the chat. I'm so pleased with that. George! Oh, e. Hang on. Science, ready? Oh. The muscularity. Oh, it's just, oh, I love that. Oh. Such a simple mind. What did you order us for today, Nim? Because Nim's ordered lunch. We need to know what the lunch is. Chamchi says, why not join the PC Master Race? Because I spend all day at my computer doing work. And the last thing I want to do is be working all day and then relax by playing a game in the same chair at the same desk that I've been sat at for 8 hours. Also, my computer is just for work. It does all my editing and streaming and everything else. And if I start playing games on it, I can't afford to shorten the life of a computer by, basically it's for work only. I can't afford to replace it. I can very rarely afford to upgrade it, so it has to be protected at all costs. So it's just for work. If I want to relax and play a game, I then go over to my console and the telly, the big telly, and a comfy chair, and I don't sit there in the same chair on the same computer monitor. Also, I like the idea of, it's kind of a throwback from the old days, but I like the fact I can put a game in and play it, rather than put a game in and then try and figure out why the sound card isn't compatible, and then have to download extra stuff to make it work on that particular processor, and then try and figure out why my controller... I just want to play the game. Nim is going to be consuming a cheeseburger, fries, and a slice of cinnamon rolled cheesecake. Oh! Kicker. No, it says Chamchi. Kicker is just Bob Smith Industries Instaset. Zip Kicker. There's plenty of different ones available. They're all kind of the same thing. They accelerate the curing process. Phyllis says, man, I put on too much timber during lockdown, so I'm eating nothing fun for a while. Yeah. I got fully out of breath mowing the lawn and then realised I had gone too far. I suddenly realised when none of my t-shirts fitted me. And the ones that did, the t-shirts that fit me that were previously quite large and baggy because I ordered one size too big, were now a little bit tight and the belly was showing through. And I'm like, oh, it's gone a bit wrong, this, hasn't it? Colin's in, Festa 67 Workshop. Hey, buddy. Thank you for coming along. Welcome, welcome. I just jumped. I've lost everything now. Yeah, welcome, Cole. Fox, this is correct with HDMI. What? So it can go through the... Because that'd be great, because I've got no way to stream otherwise. I'd love to stream some old games. I want to... The thing I'm looking forward to the most is playing Halo. Original Halo, but original Xbox Halo. Not through the Master Chief Collection. And also playing Medal of Honor Frontline, which I know when I go back and play it, it's going to be terrible, but I want to play it again. He's crossing the streams. Polycaps, that's the word I'm looking for. Polycaps. Oh. Swig. I have the link for the Facebook page as the Raging Modeler. You can do it, says Chamchi. Thank you very much. I've PM'd it to Andy and Raging, says Dad. You can stick... No, Dad, you can put the link to the page in. You don't put in my message, but you can copy the URL and stick it in chat. You don't need to send everybody individual messages. You could just put the link in chat. Just the link. Do. I shall be going soon to cook dinner, says Chris at Gross Models. We need descriptions, dude. Use a piece of plastic dowel or tube, Fox. I could do, but I haven't got any plastic tubing, and it's going to be on that sort of curve there, so I don't know how I'm going to get it to glue it in and stay in place. It's tricky. Tricksy time. I modded my original Xbox. Hey, Mama Fox.
Hello.
I modded my Xbox years ago and it's great. I just ran out of space. Awesome fun to be had on that console. Oh yeah. Everything's jumped again. Sorry. He speaks to you, Cole Fester. He ignores me. I've said hello to you and spoken to you so far, Dad. You know what I mean? I've said hello. Where are we? Conflict Desert Storm, Fox. That game gave us so much co-op fun on the Xbox. I probably have that one. You can do it, adding the magnets to the other section. Yeah, I might do. A blob of epoxy putty on the one end to conform to the bottom. I don't have any epoxy putty, unfortunately. I did think about maybe just bulking it up with milliput. Or somebody suggested putting a screw through the bottom. I could do that. Or a nail or something. That would work. Not you, Fox. That fella called Chris. Wait, what? I'm confused now. I'm so proud. I did the thing. Right, what's next? Next, we've got to do the tracks, and that's the bit I'm not looking forward to because the tracks are tedious now. They are actually tedious doing the tracks, sadly, because it's all the seam lines in the world. I can put these scissors away now. Let's put those scissors away. Where's my big nipple? Big nipple. Spid's ears are burning now. He will appear. Carl, Festo, what's your bench and belly, dude? Because you weren't here when Dad asked the question earlier on. Bench and belly, you know the routine. Pating and ding. Track number 1, please. Cashier number 4, please. Yes, we've got a roast beef on the go tonight. I don't know what happened with it because we haven't got any of the trimmings or anything else. It might just be roast beef and chips and gravy and some veg, I think. Our belly tonight. Yeah, Dad, you should be able to copy just the link, mate, for the X emulation. Anybody else that wants it. Food for kings, says Champty. Yes. Right, let's get these little nubulations off. The only reason I can't put the link in myself is that for some reason the chat doesn't appear in my streaming software, which is a bit of a pain in the bum. Actually, let me try something. I might press a button by accident and break everything here. Not. No, they changed it all around now. I don't know where I could possibly. I know what I can do. I know what I can do. Wait there. Wait there. Inception. I want to go to that and then copy. Loaded. Live on telly. Live from Nottingham. And then I can come back here to the chat and I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Hang on. Are you going to paste anything? Yes. There you go. Right, that is the guys I'm getting my mod father from. If you want the Xbox, there's the mod father, which is the 500 gig hard drive, and you get a small amount of games. Or there's the mod father Ultra, which is the one with the 8 terabyte hard drive and basically all the games in the world ever. And you can specifically request certain games. If you want MS-DOS games, you have to ask them to include those. They tend not to include them because most people don't have a keyboard and mouse or don't realise they can use a keyboard and mouse and they don't bother with them. But if you want them, I said to him, can you please include the MS-DOS games because I've got a keyboard and mouse. So there you go. I don't know if they do outside the UK, that's anything. They might do. They seem like nice lads. Yeah, they've got PSPs, they've got PS2s, Dreamcasts, they've got Wii's. What else have they got? Oh, Switches. They do a Switch. Do they do a Switch? I don't know, actually. I don't think they do. 360s. I think they're thinking about doing a Switch, or they might do a Switch. Just making my first tree for a little diorama, says Phil East. It's going to okay so far. Just need to make sure I seal it all well. Yes, Rick. I didn't know this, but I learned something the other day, by the way, just randomly while I was doing things. If you have like grass or flock, or if you've used flocky type stuff for leaves on your trees, for example, and you want to lock them in, you can spray, you can thin down the PVA glue, your white glue, your Elmer's glue, with water, and you can spray that over to lock things in, over pebbles and stuff like that, or gravel, anything like that. However, you need to add some alcohol to it, or spray some isopropyl alcohol over it first, because when you spray on this PVA glue with the water, it'll land on there, the alcohol will break the surface tension, and the PVA glue will seep down into the gaps between like the blades of grass or the flock or the leaves, the flock on the trees, whatever you've got, if you're spraying rubble and stuff. So spray it with some alcohol first, and then the thin down PVA glue, and that's how you get the PVA. Otherwise, you end up with big blobs of PVA glue hanging on the top of tufts of grass, which looks rubbish. You need to break that surface tension. And I was like, oh, that's a handy tip when I saw that the other day. Yeah, spray it with isopropyl alcohol. What our cousins in America call rubbing alcohol. It just means that there's no surface tension, so that when it does land on the surface, it breaks down and dribbles into between the bits of grass and things like that. Otherwise, you end up with just ruining your grass texture and sadness. Dude, I've got a VR kit on the way. Cool. What have you got? What, PC or Oculus or Sony PlayStation VR or? Chris knows about VR. Mayhem says, for dinner there will be chicken nuggets, waffles, spiced chicken breast and golden rice for the missus and mini Mayhem, and for me it will be pepperoni pizza and the in-laws, because allergies. Ugh, pepperoni. Ugh. Ugh. Can't stand pepperoni. Horrible, it's not real food. If you want meat on a pizza, it needs to be sausage or ground beef or bacon or prawns or anchovies or I can't think of anything else. You get this meat, but never pepperoni and all that kind of nonsense. Ugh, horrible stuff. Yeah, it's vile nonsense. I've just annoyed everybody who lives in New York now. I don't know how annoying this is through the new microphone setup. It might be boosting this quite a lot. I do apologise. PS Oculus Rift S. Cool. Yeah, Chris at Chris Models does the old PlayStation VR. Pepperoni is a sausage, isn't it? It's a chamchi. Yeah, but it's just foul. It just tastes like manufactured nonsense. It doesn't taste like sausage, which is nice on a pizza. Then again, I like anchovy and pineapple on pizzas, so I suppose I can't really be held as a traditional standard, can I? There's something that's fun there. Dioramas. Dioramas are great fun. Especially if you don't know what you're doing, like me, and you're like, how do I do this now? There you go, it's a landscape. Brilliant. And of course, being lazy, remember I was saying before about how being lazy sometimes gives you the best creative decisions, because you try and find better, shorter, quicker ways to do things. Me being the laziest human being on the planet, of course, when I had to do my last diorama, I had to do soil. And I'm like, oh, am I going to have to like fart about and buy soil products and mess around and all this nonsense? And then the moment I read a thing that says, go in the garden and get some soil, I'm like, bonus. That's no effort whatsoever. I will do that. Also, it looks like soil. Fantastic. So if there's a quick and easy way of doing something, by God, can you guarantee I'll do it? So sometimes being lazy is not such a bad thing. Nim says, Fox, we came up with a chicken wing pizza. So yeah. Oh, chicken wings, you see. No. See, hot wings. KFC hot wings, I like them. But actual chicken wings, no. Because, you know why? Because they're 99% faff and bone, and you get a little tiny bit of meat. Compared to a drumstick. Here's how you eat a drumstick. You get it and you go, hum, nom, 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 and you've got a bone, and you're happy. Here's how you eat a wing. You go, and you've got a little tiny mouthful of chicken, and there's just you farting about. It's nonsense. Don't go for wings, go for drumsticks. Proper, real people eat drumsticks. No fruit on pizza, says Paul Di Tommaso, because Paul Di Tommaso is clearly wrong to say such theoretical things like that. Buffalo chicken wings, Fox. What? Buffalo chicken wings. You just use chicken fingers. I'm lost. Doner kebab meat on a pizza. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Doner kebab meat. Oh, there's nubs in the... Oh, hello. Have I got to take this? Oh, didn't see that. Oh, I did not see that now. That is not something that I saw. There's nubulations inside. Little nubettes. Little tinkers. Thought it was looking a bit fussy in there with the wheels. I've done it again. I've not got my sanding mat. Oh. I've got a sanding mat that Kenneth got me and I'm not actually using it. Hang on. Fox, you're an idiot. What are you? No, I've forgotten already. Right. Out there. Try that again, shall we? Yes. Oh, no, I want fish finger butties, says Scaly Models. Oh, fish fingers. Oh, yeah. See, the problem is now, we've been defrosting a big, well, not a big, it's actually tiny, a tiny roast beef joint all the last 24 hours. And now, I actually really want KFC. Thanks, you lot, for mentioning chicken wings. And you know, can't go down now and say to Mama Fox, we're not going to have this roast beef we spent 24 hours defrosting. But, you know, you guys are both the best and the worst. We did. Beyond Hope's in. I have arrived. No need to stand up. A simple bow of the head will suffice. Welcome, Beyond. I was debating whether to call you Adam by mistake, but I won't. Yeah. For some reason, like all of us, like me, Chris, and Dad, and everybody, when it comes to like, hang on, just my desk here. When it comes to Beyond Hope and Raging Mortal and all the other guys, we always kind of get all the names wrong because we know, we all know you through your YouTube handles, so we always call Beyond Hope Adam. Or is it Adam and it's... I don't know. I could have it the wrong way around again, you see. I don't know. But don't be offended. I am actually rubbish with names, so you should never be offended if I get your name wrong. Because at the end of the day, at least I've remembered you've got a name. It's the most important thing. How are we doing? Yeah, I'm in camera. There we go. Some of these little seam lines that are hard to get to. Andrew, Adam is the other guy. That's what I said. That's what I said. I was debating whether to call you Adam or not. That was deliberate because I know it's Andrew. I know it's Andrew because Dad said Andrew. That's how I remembered, you see. I just found the best way to do it is to wait for somebody else to call somebody by the name and then I assume they're correct. There's a reason that I call everybody dude in real life. Or buddy. I don't know why I've started doing buddy, but yeah, the reason that I call everyone dude is because I am the worst with names. There's people I've known for years and I still can't remember their damn names. Because I'm just rubbish. I'm not a practical man. I have no such practical knowings. By the way, if any of you do go to X-Emulation and order yourself some goodness, do let them know that I sent you. It won't get me any benefits. It'd just be nice for them to know that I sent you. Maybe they'll stick a free controller in my box or something. I don't know. It'd just be nice that it's a nice way for them to know that, they've impressed me enough that I'm happy to recommend them to other people. Yeah, if you do get something from them, just tell them I sent you. Say Fox from Model Making Guru. They sent me. Me. Of course, if I get it in a week's time and it's absolute garbage, I'll be like issuing a redaction. Now, the only thing I don't like about it that I've seen so far is that whenever people show it, it's always got some like over fussy special effect menu with lightning on it and crappy dance music by default in the menu, and I'm like, yeah, I'm turning that off straight away. So before I ordered it, I said to them, can you turn that crap off? And they went, yeah, you can turn it off, don't worry. Good, because that would be an absolute not purchase for me if I had to listen to thumping dancey crap every time I turn the console on. Beyond Hope says, also model making guru. I have learned to dislike you as I'm stuck on Elite Dangerous now. I have 2.3 billion credits and halfway to a fleet carrier. I spent almost 60 hours in game last month. Yeah, I've not played it for a while. Downside of fleet carriers though, I don't know if you know, there's no point just earning enough like 5 billion to get your fleet carrier and then you're done. Because you've got to have daily upkeep, weekly upkeep. You've got to pay for it on a weekly basis. So it's 5 billion credits and another 100 billion credits to keep it updated and upkeep. Because apparently, unless they've changed it, if you don't pay the upkeep charges, it gets destroyed. It gets taken off you and scrapped. And it's like, hey, you know, Frontier, you know you are making a game that people want to play for fun. You do know that, don't you? They're just trying to make you go in and do the grind all the time, so you have to keep paying the bills. They seem to forget they're actually making a game. People have jobs that they go to every day, and they play games to get away from it. I can't find a price for the machines of emulation, says the Raging Modeler. Yeah, they are not the most obvious on their site. If you go to the shop, you go on the Facebook page and click on the shop link on the menus on the left-hand side. It gives you an image for each one and a rough idea. The mod file that I've gone for is 211 quid, including shipping. The smaller mod father I think is 100 and something. Most of them are between 1 and 200 quid anyway. I don't know about things like the PSPs and stuff. But they fully strip them down. They replace, in the Xbox, they replace things like the mod capacitor, the clock capacitor, which is a failure point in all of the old Xboxes. So I'm getting rid of the seam line inside the track here, but I'm going to put mud on this. So I don't even know why I'm bothering, because I'm going to end up weathering it anyway. I'm going to get dirt and mud on it. Nobody will ever see the seam line. There's Andrew and Andy, and one of them is a raging loony, says Mayhem. Not just upkeep, you have to pay for all the services you want on board too. Shipyard outfitting, refuel, universal cartographics. Yeah. Yeah, I know, I'm nuts. No need to rub it in. Yeah, I've not played Elite for a while, to be perfectly honest. I've been kind of too busy to play a lot of games in the last few months. But when I have, I've been playing Fallout or Skyrim, really. But having said that, I need to kind of stop playing them now. Because the downside of doing Fallout on a Friday and Skyrim on a Saturday is that I really don't want to play it in my own time. What I mean by that is my own playthrough of Fallout. I'm on my own personal playthrough. I'm on my third playthrough of Fallout 4, and I'm doing it now with some mods I never had before, like the different weapons and the day-night cycle and darker nights, and it's changed the way the game plays, playing it at slow speed. And it's almost like half the world I didn't even know was there. Now I can take time to find it, and it's really cool. But if I play it by myself, and then the next day I'm playing it for you guys, I might walk into a place that I've just been through like the day before, and I'll be like, oh god, I've got to go through this building again. So I'd rather stop playing them myself, so that at least I can, you know, have some fun exploring with you lot. Otherwise I'm just going through the motions, and there's no point me doing that stream at all. But I think pretty much I'll have enough of a distraction game-wise when my Xbox turns up. Yeah. He's getting rid of seam lines to keep his low build quota scaly models, says Mayhem. Hey, listen, I get forgiven today for not making millions of models. You know why? That's a get out of jail card free, that is. There you go, see? You don't see Ted and Chris doing magnets on their videos. Nah, I see. That gets me out of every sticky situation. Yeah. Beyond Hope says, I'm now working from home, so I have a lot of time to fill. If I get the Indominus box, at least I'll have some plastic to squeeze together. They're easy fit, not glued together. Oh, really? Another easy fit? I mean, you know, doesn't really matter. They still look cool. if you get the Indominus box. If you haven't pre-ordered it, you're probably screwed. Because isn't it pre-order only? I think Simon was telling me it's pre-order only. I felt so bad for Goblin Gaming yesterday, though. Who are one of my channel affiliate supporters, sponsors. Because, of course, the Indominus box went live yesterday for pre-orders. I put a thing up saying, hey, it's available now at Goblin Gaming, go for it. Within 5 minutes, their entire website crashed. Now, I don't think it's anything to do with me, but it just happened to be that timing. But what basically happened was they have a third-party company that does effectively their online shopping solution. It's a company, like, you know, some stores might use something like Magento, which is a back-end e-commerce software that you build your store around. If you use Magento, you do it yourself, or you pay someone to do it for you. You employ someone to run it. But they use a company called Shopify. I've never heard of them. A company called Shopify who do e-commerce solutions, but they do it all for you. I assume you host your services on their servers, or you host it yourself, but you run it through their commerce and trading servers or something like that. Anyway, apparently their system just fell over because it couldn't cope with so many simultaneous orders, and they had an allocation of 300 sets of the Indominus set, and they took more orders than they had sets for. It shouldn't have let them do that. It should have stopped at 300 and said, sorry, we're sold out now. But this company Shopify just screwed the pooch right royally. They messed up, and it kept letting people place orders because so many of them were like within a microsecond. So they successfully took payment for more than their allocation of sets. And of course, that's a living nightmare because it wasn't their fault. They didn't know it was happening until it started happening. Basically, they don't control the system. They just hope that Shopify worked properly. And so that fell over. But to their credit, within minutes, they pulled the site down, reset it all, which is why the site went down, and then put posts up on their Facebook page saying, this is what's happened. In the interest of transparency, this is what's happened. And I felt sorry for them because they put a big long post explaining that it wasn't anything they'd done, that they're working with Shopify now to make sure it never happens again, and that they're offering people full refunds if they want them, or they can wait and leave their order on the off chance they get an allocation in the second wave later in the year, in like August. And despite explaining everything in great detail, and it being obvious that it's not something they did, it's not something they did wrong, there were still some absolute spoons in the comments saying, well, I'm never going to order from you again because it's rubbish, don't trust you. It's like, which bit of them explaining it was nothing they did that made the problem did you not understand, you gimp? Some people. So I felt really sorry for them because they were getting loads of hassle and flack for something not their fault, effectively. But that's the risk you take when you have a third party running your e-commerce. I mean, 99% of the time it's probably absolutely fine, but it's kind of something they need that company to sort out, because being a shop that sells Games Workshop stuff, it's not going to be the last time they have these limited pre-order only type sets with massive demand. Yeah, I felt really sorry for them because they're really nice guys. They're a really good team. I do like them a lot. I'm not just saying that because I'm an affiliate, but they are really. I wouldn't have become an affiliate of theirs if I didn't think they were good. And the fact that they came up within 5 or 10 minutes and put a post up explaining it in complete transparency is very impressive, as far as I'm concerned. Mordraka says, Indominus what went live for pre-order in Games Workshop yesterday and was sold out in 10 minutes. 4 minutes at Goblin. I'll wait till Games Workshop launches the 9th edition starter set, probably a scaled down set of Indominus. Yeah, I didn't realise it was limited edition because I know our very good friend Simon Reynolds, Kevin, he wanted to order one. And he got his order through, but then later on he got the mail from Goblin saying, sorry, we screwed up and you haven't got it. But the people were kvetching about it in the comments, and it's like, did you not understand the post that explained what happened? Go back and read it with your eye, you moron. Honestly, some people are so entitled. It makes me angry. Now you need to remagnetize all the remaining models. No. So spoke to my local game store, says Beyond Hope. They say my name is on a box, but until I get it in my greasy hands on the 25th of July, I'm not counting chickens. Chicken. Dave's in. Hey Dave. Afternoon all. Sorry late. Been playing Age of Sigmar next door since 11. 1500 points. Night Haunt versus Stormcast. Score is 1-1. Next door. You live next door to a game store? Or you mean with your neighbour? I hope you're observing safe social distancing and wearing masks. Can confirm they're lovely. Looking forward to playing against you one day, Fox, at the Goblin Gaming. Yeah, once the world's no longer on fire and I can leave the house, you know, because Mama Fox can get in, and once there's a vaccine and I can leave the house, I fully intend to go to Goblin one day and have a game with someone, get some gaming on. That would be nice. I just need to build up enough troops of one particular force or unit first, really. That's also something I should do. Maybe I'll have enough Death Corps of Krieg by then. You never know. Big Wee and Brew time. Be right back, says Dad. I thought you were gardening, says Dad. And Dave says, we were, but the woman wanted to do their diamond art stuff, so it was game on. Next door is part of our bubble. I feel sorry for next door. They have my deepest sympathies. Right, there we go. That's a little bit of a seam line there. And hey, I'll tell you what. You think I'm obsessive with mould lines. You think I'm bad with mould lines. Ask Cy Reynolds about mould lines. Ask him about Space Marine backpacks. And then just stand back and watch him go. Yeah. You think I'm bad with mould lines. You think I'm slow. You think I build slowly. Just ask Simon. It's a shame he's not here. Ask Cy Reynolds how slow he is at building. He'll tell you. He's worse than me at mould lines, with mould lines and stuff. See, I'm quite happy to leave these mould lines underneath here because I'm going to cover them in mud. And they'll just stay covered in mud. But on the outside, of course, you'll have bare tracks showing, so not as much mud. So I'm going to tidy them up on the outside, but on the inside, I'm going to leave them. That would have Cy Reynolds, just that little twitch under his eye, but he'd be going right now with that. Games Workshop advertised it as there is enough for everyone, even said it on their preview live stream. They screwed the pooch on this one badly. Absolutely. Potentially, if they've actually advertised it as that, they could get into a lot of trouble with that, with advertising standards. Because they should know. They should know. Because every time they do this kind of, you can only pre-order it, it's only available through pre-order, every time they do it, the same thing happens. They get, the websites fall over and they run out of stock instantly. They should know that, because they're building the hype. So, and it's not like they can't suddenly make more if they have to, so, you know. They are part of our bubble, says Dave, and Raging Modeler says, do they know that? Right, guys, how has the sound been? How has my audio been? With the microphone in a new place and in its little padded housing, how's it? Am I sounding okay? Am I sounding nice and clear, or is it a bit echoey? How does it sound? Tell me with words. Use your mouth words. Right, so these go on that way. Now, again, I'm probably not going to glue these on now because your sound is fine. Cool. I'm quite pleased because one thing you'll notice in the latest Millennium Falcon video is it does sound a bit like this. Because from now on, I used to always use a lavalier mic when I was filming because it gave fantastic, nice, clear, crisp sound and got rid of all the background noise. However, pain in the ass. Because when I'm using a lavalier mic, it's got a very low range of what it can cope with. Even though it's a decent lavalier mic, if I talk too loudly, and it may just be because it's going into the iPhone when I'm recording, if it's talk too loudly, you get clipping with no effort. And the other thing was, for some reason, the iPhone started to develop a clicking sound when I'm recording and doing voiceover. I'm recording. The way I work is I've got my iPhone filming and my lavalier mic plugged into the iPhone to do the voice, to do the recording, the audio. It had this little click every 10 seconds, like that. And I'm like, what the hell is that? So I tried it into my iPad. using the camera, and it did the same thing. It just started for no reason, but on a different device as well. So what I found was I could plug the lavalier mic into the iPad and use the voice memo app to record the speaking and have the camera filming the filming, and that would get rid of the problem. But it's still the problem of then I had to use my iPad. I had to then export that audio file to Google Drive and then download it from Google Drive to my computer. Pain in the backside. In the end, what I decided was I'm just going to put my big desk mic there, my big blue Yeti mic, and it actually sounds quite good. I figured out a nice way to use compression and EQ and some other bits and bobs to make it sound all right. So from now on, I'm going to use just my desk mic. And the thing is now, it means I can talk loudly and quietly. With the lavalier mic, I had to talk at a steady volume. Whether I started off quietly or loudly, I had to try and keep it there, and it was really hard work. And it was hurting my throat after a while. It was getting quite difficult to do it because it's a lot of, trying to keep a consistent volume when you're talking. If you ever watch like one of my mystery package times, when I get excited and then you get a bit of clipping, yeah. So at least now with this big desk mic, it's when I do a video now, the desk mic, I'm recording the audio on Audacity on the desktop, and I'm recording the video in the phone camera, and melding the two together is child's play. It's dead easy. And then it's great. I can press it and everything else. It sounds fantastic. So yeah, I'll be doing that from now on. That's a bit of inside baseball there, but it's quite exciting news for me. That's them. I've got the back panel. We're going to finish this because I've got one piece left to do. This is a bit of a simpler build. I've got some cleanup to do as well, haven't I suppose? Let me do the cleanup first then. Quick look at chat. Hang on, swig of coffee. Round's complete. Oh, great. Who invited the herbivore? I brought hummus. Dinosaurs. Right. Got water now as well. Water. Aww. In a proper northern dimple glass. Quick look at chat. Annoyingly, people are using the chocolate velociraptor as an excuse for Games Workshop, but everything that has happened has been after the lockdown ended. Yep. I mean, it may be that they haven't been able to manufacture as many as they manufacture as many as they wanted, because they did have a month or two where everything was shut down. So maybe they haven't been able to manufacture as many, but still, Where is Captain Swig? I don't know. I'm guessing Dad or somebody in chat in our little private group chats will have summoned him because his name's been called, but he's not turned up. Mayhem says lockdown hasn't officially ended yet. No, true. You know what I mean. Games Workshop opened their website stores and then started promoting the 9th edition. They could have held back to catch up, but didn't. Exactly. Yeah, I think they just didn't make enough. They made less than they hoped, and they didn't want to suddenly stop the marketing machine. Because the thing about them is, when you see a thing saying, launching on this date is this product, that's been in the process for like 1.5 years, 2 years. All the schedules and timing has been booked in to the day. You talk to... You read or listen to anything by like by Duncan and Peachy and that lot when they do the painting videos. Or anybody on the painting team. So I need to clear my throat 1 sec. Anybody on the painting team, and they say regularly, what's the hardest bit about this job? And it's like, well, it's painting something and seeing it 2 years before you're allowed to know about it. So it's like, yeah, some of the stuff that they get to paint and build is 2 years ahead of itself. So yeah, I don't know. Nothing isn't fixable though. He has been summoned, says Scaly Models. Yes. Blue Yeti, says Model Maker Mayhem. I don't want to know what you've been doing in the Kazi. And Dad says, are you sure? Model start burping then. Model Making Truckers in, Lewis. Hey, Lewis. Look, Lewis, look. Watch. What? You'll be amazed. Watch this. It's magic. Watch. Heresy. Whoa! I did a magnet live on the telly, and everybody watched it, and it's awesome. And it's the best thing I've ever done, and everybody loves me now. And I have the best words. Yes. Right. I've got the blue ball. Can't get the Yeti in red, says Dad. Yeah, you want the Yeti, Dad. The balls or the snowball's all right, but it's not as good as a Yeti. Now, remember we glued these two halves together and I said don't sand them individually, sand them properly, you know, get rid of the nub completely when they've glued together. That's what we're doing now. I've left a little bit of the nub, but I want to make sure I don't get a step. If you sand the parts separately, you may have them at different heights. So what I'm going to do now is use my scraping tool, my mold line removal tool. This is my GW1, other ones are available. I'm going to just slowly get rid of the bead of glue that I squeezed out. Before you do any kind of filling on a model, just see if, when you glue it together and you squeeze the glue out, just see if that's enough to get rid of any gaps, fill any, like, you know, mold, any seam lines. I always get seam lines and mold lines mixed up. 95% of the time, the glue that you splooge out when you squish it together will be enough to hide and fill any gaps, any small gaps. Now, I never thought of doing this until I started building Gunpla, and it's a well-established technique on Gunpla building. It's like, yeah, just squeeze them together and the glue fills the gap. Oh yeah, why didn't I ever think of that? And 95% of the time, this will get rid of everything. It will fill all your little gaps and panel lines. Not every single time, but 95% of the time. And it's really only anything left over once you've done this that you need to then think about filling with fillers or sprue goo or whatever your preferred choice of fillulation is. But the good thing about doing it with one of these things that I like is if you do anywhere have two pieces that are a slightly different height, like you've got left side and right side, and they're not quite lined up. Some older kits you'll get, it doesn't quite, like especially Revell or Italeri, there's a step. This can just level that dead quickly. You know, like when you're making a cake and you get your big cake spatula thing where you try and you go, or you do that like that. If you had a big pile of, say, cake mix and you got a spatula and you went over the top and you have a nice smooth surface, that's what you're doing with this. You're just going and you're scraping the step away. So this is also a good way. The first initial thing to do is just try your scraping tool, just to start with, because I've got a bit of a step there. It didn't quite line up properly. And that's just seen it off completely. Now, as with the other one, like with the other one, again, this is where Si would just send me the look of death. He'd be giving me the evils constantly if he knew I was doing this. With this one, again, it's a scenery piece. It's not anything amazing. It's just a piece of scenery. It's not even the right one. That's the right one. There we go. Is it the front? Yes. You're not going to see, it's not going to be moved around on the tabletop. It's going to be on the tabletop and never moved. You're not going to see underneath. So I'm going to quickly run over this bit here, like there. But I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. If it's not fully filled, if it's a little bit scruffy, two reasons, like I say. One is you're not going to see it. But two, again, I'm going to weather this with dirt and dust. That'll cover up a lot of sin. Remember, I do weathered, I don't do clean. And this is a 1,000-year-old piece of technology. It's a clunky old, whatever, binary load lifter, whatever you want to call it. Bit of Star Wars for you there. It's knackered, it's old. Sorry for the stupid question, but what are you building? I am building. This is the 80 issue Warhammer Conquest Partwork series. If you don't know what this is, over 2 years you get 80 issues and you build an entire Space Marine army, an entire Death Guard army. And these particular one, this is issue 62, the galvanic servo haulers, which are two terrain pieces, two vehicles, one with a big grabby arm, it's that one, and this one with a sort of weldy thing. And these are literally, because if you don't know 40k, it's a tabletop game. These are just terrain pieces. You put them on your terrain, your game terrain, just to make it interesting. You can use them as objectives in your gameplay. So you might say you've got to capture the servo hauler and each player tries to capture it. Or they can just be nice little things that sit around on the tabletop and you can use them as cover. They're just like, it's called terrain pieces, but it's basically just scenery items. It is the model version of a palette knife. Yes. The Raging Modeler says, I can hear our Lord and Saviour crying. Yes, I can hear Cy Reynolds screaming internally and externally about the fact I'm just going to say, screw it, we'll leave that mod line there. But that's the thing, I know what weather I'm going to do. And when I do, if you imagine the tractor, and it's like 1,000 years old, it's going to be covered in crap down there. I'll be doing stuff under here that means even if I left that seam line completely, that you wouldn't see it. And the trick is, with model making, there's nothing wrong with going all out and cleaning everything up massively, but just keep in mind that you don't always have to. You know, there's no point spending an hour cleaning a panel gap that you're then going to cover in mud texture and cover up completely anyway. You're just wasting your own time. And you're wasting that time when you could be spending that time making something else cool. There you go. Do. I was having some issues getting it on and off and needed a hand from Nat. I've no idea what we're talking about, and that's just gone even worse now. I know 40k, said Champsy. Cool. Yeah, so they're in the Conquest set, but they're also available separately as part of the Sector Mechanicus scenery sets. I need to check out these part works. Where are you actually, Champsy? What country are you in? Because it's a Hachette part work, but they're not in every country. There's some places where they are and some places where they're not. They do two. They do Warhammer Conquest, which is the 40k part work. It's over 80 issues. And you will have, like I say, you'll have like a big Space Marine army and a big Death Guard army. But they also do an Age of Sigmar one, which I think is still ongoing. This one has actually finished now, but it's not finished as in it's never going to. You can join it any time, but the initial, I've got all 80 issues now. The Age of Sigmar one I think is still going through its first run, but you can sign up for both of them. And it works out like about 4 issues a month, works out about, what, 25, 30 quid. You're basically getting about £1,200 worth of Games Workshop stuff with the 40k one for about 800 quid. So I don't know what your local currency will be, but yeah, it's a massive saving. It's driven, I'm English, but I live in South Korea. Okay. I don't know if they do it to South Korea. You'd have to have a look on their website. Because I know they do the UK, they do Australia, they do South America. They don't have a North American office, unfortunately, so you can't get this in North America. I don't know about South Korea. I don't know if anyone any of the mods in chat can get the link up from somewhere for the Hachette website, or for the I can't get my words out. For the Conquest Facebook. If you just do a Google search for Warhammer 40,000 Conquest, you'll see it. You'll come across it. It'll be there. Right, now I'm going to get my scribing tool to try and get the gap. Remember, we squidged the glue out in this gap here down the middle. I'm going to get it into this radiator grill because I can't get the file in there. Just to see if I can reduce the bleb of glue that goes down the middle in these little recesses. Now, when I paint this, of course, I'm probably going to paint inside these gaps black anyway, or a very dark colour, so you won't see these. But it doesn't do any harm to try and smooth them out and get rid of them a little bit. What I will do first, actually, before I do that, is smooth the outside down a bit. Smaller file sanding thing. Make sure the outside looks good. The last 2 Mortal Realms powerworks have been good ones, heroes for both factions. I might actually subscribe to the Mortal Realms one at some point in the future, maybe. It's just right now, it's not something I can afford to do. Or nor would I have the time to do it. He says it's something I can't afford to do, and he's just bought himself a 200 quid original Xbox. I have been saving, before you say that, I have been saving for that for over a year. It's been on my radar for at least a year, and I've been watching the X-Emulation guys to see what they're like, to see what people's feedback is. Oops. Still a little bit in there. I can't quite get the file in there. I haven't got a thin enough needle file to get in there. I can't find out where Hachette delivered to. It's not in the FAQ. You have to. There is a place. There's a place on the website, but it's not. Can't remember. But maybe when you go to the 40,000 website, it may actually have the options for, you know, you flag at the top where you put down what country you're in. I'm thinking they possibly don't do South Korea, but I don't know. It is quite tricky to find it though. Anywhere that says where you can get this part work. I mean, the easiest way is just to fill out the subscription form and it'll say, sorry, we don't do it to that country. But I think you can choose your country on the website in like the top left or right hand corner somewhere. Or am I thinking of D'Agostini? I don't know. Could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be right. I won't sing that though because that's copyright. I did a rhyme. I'm just trying to scrape away now that little seam line that's got the glue splooged out, so that the base, the surface down there, and then the edges on either side. Just so that when I come to paint it, you've not got this glumpy big seam line right down the middle. But again, if you were making this, for example, and you suddenly find there's a seam line you can't get rid of, like say you couldn't get that seam line to go away, it looked a bit pants, then this is a terrain piece. So why not add stuff to it? Put a tarpaulin over the front, or you know, scratch build some thing that goes over the front, like a load of, like, I don't know, bags or sacks or something, or just imagine a piece of industrial equipment and add some greebles over the front that cover up the bit you can't clean up. You know, what you could do, if you wanted to have fun, if you're in the UK, you'll be more than familiar with like big trucks going down the road and they've got a teddy bear strapped to the grill on the front. Why not put a teddy bear on the front grill? It's a working, I mean, I know it's a servitor in here. It's not actually a working man that drives it. Well, actually, this one is a guy that drives it around. It's got a control panel. But you could give it a touch of the real world and give it a little teddy bear. Give it a comic relief red nose. You could, yeah, put a tarpaulin over it. If it's a scenery piece, why not have it like it's half covered up with tarpaulin because it's been in storage? You can do a lot of things. And but don't think, when there's bits that you can't clean up, don't think that's certain that you're stuck with a big seam line. I mean, if you like making a Formula 1 race car, you can't really do that. But if you're making a piece of industrial equipment like this, and it's a scenery item, it's not like a Space Marine in a land speeder, or, you know, a vehicle with dudes in it. It's just a piece of terrain. Go for it. Have fun with it. It's actually really quite hard to get in there. I haven't got a file thin enough, sadly. Where's my knife? There it is. Evening, folks. Been lurking, listening to Fox waffle away because I've been cooking many things, says Edward. You can't say that. You know the rule. If you've been cooking many things, we need to know what you've been cooking. You can't leave us hanging like that. But welcome also. UK and Ireland only, says Chamchi. UK and Ireland, I think they do South. It's where they've got offices. They have an office in South America. I think you get it. They do it in Australia. Because they have an Australian office. Is it something that perhaps, if you're from the UK but you're in South Korea, do you still have contacts in this country that could perhaps take delivery of it and send it to you, or just take delivery of it till the next time you come here? Are you likely to return here at some point in the next couple of years? In which case, if you've got family or friends over here or relatives, maybe you can order it and have it sent to them, and then they can hold it for you and either send it to you, or you know, pick it up when you go. Just options. Because at the moment, it really is limited to where their offices are. They don't have an office in North America, so they can't do it in North America. But they're missing out on a massive market, because North America likes it. But this would go down a treat in North America. But they don't have an office there. They have a publishing department and offices in North America, but not the Partworks office. They don't do Partworks at all, which is sad. Right, so That little bit there, I think we can sand away. I went over these with the removal tool. I just want to give them a quick sand just to smooth it off. The reason I'm using this and not just scraping the seam line away with the knife is because the knife bends and flexes. You can see it bending there. It bends and flexes and scratches and digs into the surface, whereas this thing is just solid steel. It's not going to bend. You get a nice smooth surface with this. I'm just going to hold it up to the light to see if that looks... Yeah, it's almost there. When you scrape with this, it just gives a nice, I don't know if you'll see it there, but it gives a nice smooth surface. It's not all jaggedy and scratched and dug to hell, basically. Okay, that bit there. Some of the little seam lines are quite small. And what you're basically doing is, because you've squeezed the glue out, you've got the little trench where the gap is, and then a little way down it's filled with glue that's now just filled with plastic because it melts the plastic together. So what you're doing is you're scraping the surface down. There might be a little, say, let's say you've got two parts here, and there's a little gap here, and then you've got the plastic, the glue's melted together, so you've got that effect. All you're doing is you're scraping this away, scraping, scraping, scraping. Now you've got a flat plastic surface. Because remember, what's filling the gap is not glue, it's the polystyrene plastic of the kit that's melted into the gap by the glue. So there you go. Lovely stuff. I love filling with glue even. What's that tool called, says Chamchi? It is the Citadel Mold Line Removal Tool. Other ones are available. Other people make them. I just like this one because it's mighty heavy. And of all the tools, they sell a lot of tools and they're all ridiculously overpriced apart from this, which is really nice. This is worth every penny. Trust me. You can use it for so many things. It's just the one tool I would say I really appreciate from Games Workshop. See, their pin vise is really, really nice, but it's far too expensive. And I used to take the mickey out of their tweezers. Until I realised, sorry, I used to take the mickey out of their side cutters, their nippers, because these are these are 18 quid. And I'm like, these are far too expensive. And then you realise Revell sell a pair twice as much, that cost twice as much as these. Revell selling cutters that cost twice as much as Games Workshop cutters. Yeah, all is forgiven. Now there are times I will use a knife to get rid of an old line. That's just when I can't get the carving tool in. There's a line down the middle here that I can't get rid of. I can't get rid of this mould line here. What I might do is later on, here's another lazy builder's trick. Bent that a little bit, haven't I? Little mould line there that I can't get rid of in that little sort of crenellated part here. I'm not going to even try because I'll lose that crenellation. What I'm going to do, I'll go into my bits box later on, my Warhammer bits box or just any old bits, and I'll stick a greeble over that, like a little bit of something or a valve or a little handle or something. I'll glue something over that just covers it up and looks like part of the machinery. That'll be cool. Right, the last part is the bit on the back, which is A11. I think this vehicle actually has doesn't have a servo in it, a servo dude. I think this is actually manually operated because it has a console. It has a dashboard, it has a console with bits, computers and computer mobs and things in it. Just get rid of that little bit of shenanigans there. I like the fact they give this little hook at the back as if you can like have trailers to put on it. You probably can, I don't know, maybe you can. So this is like a little control console. So maybe there is no servo. This one, there is a person in this who has had all of their most brain functions removed and their now entire purpose in existence is to drive this thing around with a grabby hand on the back. That's Grimdark of 40k. This one I don't think there is because it's got controls. So I think this is traditional man driving it or woman driving it, either person. And what I can hear right now, I don't know if you're getting it on the microphone, but what I can hear right now through the window is there is somebody somewhere around here taking an angle grinder to a car. Get the paint off. You may wonder how I know that, because I've done it. I know exactly what it sounds like. Yeah, we had to strip an old Mark 1 Volkswagen Golf And all the traditional methods wouldn't work. We couldn't get the paint off at all because we were going to repaint it. So we just got an angle grinder and ground the paint off. It took us weeks and it was a nightmare. And that's exactly what I can hear right now. So I hope they know they're in it for the long haul, because they are. They'll be there for days and days and days. Right, I'll just file that bit down. Filing, 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 ba-da. Now, thankfully, there's no mold line on this that I need to get rid of, because the mold line is, I don't even know where it is. It's, can't tell. Sometimes they are spot on with their two-part molds. Is that straight? Is that smooth? Yes. Sometimes they get spot on with their two-part molds and they manage to hide the mold lines around edges and stuff. And you have to applaud them for that. And then sometimes they don't and you have to shout at them for that. Going to go on there. A little bit of the fat glue. That can go there. Good evening all, says Mark 3Bs. Welcome, Mark. How are you doing, buddy? Do your idiot neighbours have a Fox's YouTubing sense and go out to make as much noise as possible? Yeah, pretty much. Not all my neighbours, but all the ones that live around the back and stuff. Not my direct, like in front of my house, next door, left and right ones. Because my neighbours on that side, my next door neighbours across the driveway, they're just this young family and they're dead quiet. Well, they're dead quiet at the minute because he went to India just before lockdown and he's not come back yet. Yeah, that was unfortunate. They went to India on holiday to meet family and yeah, they were due back at the end of March. Yeah, they didn't. Well, were they? Yeah. No, sorry, yeah, they're due back at the end of April, I think. They went in late March. And they've not come back yet. I haven't heard from them. I think one of my other neighbours has, because he's in contact with them. Yeah, that was like the worst time in the world to go to India. It was just as a pandemic started. But the thing was, it was literally like about 4 days before everything got locked down. So I have to be honest and say, it's not like they didn't know, if you know what I mean. It's like, it was kind of obvious at that point that things were going a bit doolally. And maybe going to India, that particular point in time, was not maybe the solid plan. It's like him and his wife and his young kid, like 7 or 8 years old, the lad. Maybe that wasn't the best thing to do right at that moment. But, you know, hey. As far as I know, the little I've heard from my other neighbour who's in contact with, I think they're all right. They're just like stuck with family and they can't get back. So, yes. So, I hope they're all right anyway. I worry about them. So, they're very quiet right now. My neighbour on this side, she's lovely. She's dead quiet. She had a little bit of building work every now and then, but nothing major. Nothing that's annoying. Again, another lovely, quiet neighbour. Can't complain. The neighbours next door, but one. Since lockdown, they've just been doing every DIY thing you can imagine. It's been like, oh, for God's sake, will you just give it a rest and just chill out for one day? They've not been having a driveway installed. They've been building, I don't know, cars or something. You know what? If I wasn't doing this for a living and if I had like a 9-to-5 job and my employer said, right, you're stuck at home now and you're being furloughed for 12 weeks and we'll just pay 80% of your wages, you know what I'd do? I'd sit at home on my ass and I'd do nothing. I wouldn't spend all my time doing DIY and nonsense. I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to play video games. I'm getting paid. I don't have to work. I'm playing video games. I'm eating all the food I can see with it, I can get my hands on. I'm drinking beer. I'm doing nothing. Yes, because I'll never get that chance again. No, they're all doing DIY. Our entire street's doing DIY for the last 12 weeks. It's like, what? I wouldn't mind, but the house next door, but one, they've been doing all this DIY. It was virtually rebuilt like about 3 years ago before, you know, so. Or simpletons. Anyway. Right, let me just move that out of the way and get rid of our bits. Oh, hello. Where did that go? There it is. The sanding thing off there. Right, so with that bit on there, I think that is now, yeah, there isn't a servitor in this. It's just a dude driving it. But I still have to give them credit for the fact that it looks like a cathedral. I'm going to have fun painting that. When I do paint this, I will show you how to do glowing vintage green screen type computer VDU screens, because it's a really simple way to do it and it's great fun. Now, these aren't going to stay on. I'm not going to glue these on because I want to keep them off for painting later on. Again, just so I can get to the engine bits. If I glue them on, I can't get around there to the engine bits, so I'll leave those off. Don't think they're going to stay on at all, though. I will. It's a shame they don't just lock into place, because then that'd be more cool for me. Anyway, you get the idea. That's there. But most important. Oh. How do they work? Oh, yes, fantastic. So there, I'm going to quickly just get rid of a little bit of the powdery glue that's around the edge. Where's my sanding stick gone? A little bit of powdery glue sticking out the side there. It's unsightly. I know you're never going to see it, but quality control. There we go. It's much neater. There you go. I'm really proud of that. We have finished that vehicle, so that is now all both of the servo haulers done. I'll put this one there. That's both of the servo haulers. I'm going to haul your servos. If I can get the tracks on. Doodle-doo-doo-doodle-doo-doo. There. Now we put this on this end here. Which won't stay on because of the sadness, of course. Because I didn't think about doing magnets. There. Get to the grabber. There you go. So we have now built both the servo howlers. These bits on the sprue, these are left to one side for a future development. What's next? Next, we have more Death Guard to build. So next week we'll be cracking on with more bleeding poxwalkers. Oh, more poxwalkers. Oh well, never mind. You've only seen me do 30 so far. I've got another 10 to go yet. So more poxwalkers and Death Guard next week. But we're done. Yes. So these need to get put away into a bag and in a box. And like I said, the plan is once I've got everything built over the coming months, every Sunday now, it's going to be building these things, getting all this stuff built up. Once I've done that, then I'll slowly start to film the painting of everything. And I was going to, I know if you look at the playlist, there's lots of episodes around painting stuff to start with, but I was following the magazine. I was just doing what the magazine was saying. And I realised after a while, the paint job was crap. The magazine gets you to paint them to an all right level, but I can do better. So I've stopped. All those things I've painted so far will be stripped. Paint will be stripped off. And we will start from scratch. And I will paint everything properly. I'm not going to paint every single model on camera. I'll do like a Space Marine Intercessor. I'll do a Hell Jumper or whatever those floaty guys are called. I'll do the captain or the lieutenants. I'll do them. But I'll do one of each. I'm not going to do like... I'll do like a poxwalker or maybe 2 or 3 poxwalkers that then represent all of them because they're all kind of the same techniques. And I'll do obviously each of the vehicles I'll paint properly on camera. So we'll have a big long series of these. It's going to go on for years. It'll take me a long time to paint them. But yeah, that's going to do us. I'll have a quick last look at chat. It's late. Thank you for all your brain juice, says Champsy. You're more than welcome, my friend. I'm going to go now, he says. Thank you, or he or she, I don't know. Could be a he or she. Thank you very much for your coming along. Hope it's been helpful. Stay safe, wear a mask, stay inside and build something awesome. Good advice. Listen to Chemchi. Tell me about the roads are busy again now and everyone's thinking I'm inconvenienced again. That was short-lived. Yeah, it is a trucker. Lewis is a truck driver, delivery driver, logistics truck driver. So, yes, he's been working all the way through, bless him. We appreciate your service. Just glue a couple of magnets to the bottom to hold the grabber in. Yeah, I can't though because there's nothing to actually... That's hollow. I'd need to figure out how to get something inside there for the bottom magnet to sit on. See, on this one, I don't know if you hear earlier on, I glued a piece of plastic in that sits inside there. You can see the white bit. On this though, it's just... Get a big hole. So I've not quite figured that out yet. If I can, I will. I'll have to do some brain thinking. Now, I'm not a good brain thinker. Brain thinking is not what I do best. What I do best is avoiding brain thinking. That's what I do best. The last few times I've hunted people for not wearing a mask to come into the shop, you two are in the back of my mind because heroes. There you go. To Dave. And Butcher that model, Dave as well, who is Butcher. Obviously, works in the Butchies. In the Butchies? I'm talking rubbish. And I'm going to need some water. My throat's going dry. Piece of styrene tube, Fox, says Dad. I could do that. I haven't got any styrene tube. I can't do that. Yeah. I mean, I could jam lots of bits of sprue in there. That is one option. I could cobble something together, but it's just getting something in there. I'll figure it out somehow, if I can. Because it just means now that when I send... If I have to send this to George, I can take that off, and it takes up less space in a battle crate or a skirmish box or whatever. It's easier to pack. Plus it means you can... Oh, see what you made me do now. I'll send you some ASAP, says Dad. No, Dad, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Don't send me plastic. You send me enough already. Clear my throat. One sec. Had a package turn up the other day, bless it, from Dad. Unexpected. 2 bottles of Cornish beer and 2 lovely Cornish pasties. They went down for dinner and they went down very well, thank you. Me and Mama Fox had 1 each. Beer each and a Cornish pasty each, and they were really nice. The steak in those Cornish pasties was delicious. Dad says, yes. No, don't be sending me stuff. Honestly. I'm very grateful, but you're putting yourself at risk every time you go to the post office. Don't do that. Where are we? Especially when they have their noses poking out the top of the mask. Oh, I hate that. Every time I see someone with a mask and they've got the nose sticking out, I just want to just I don't know, run them over. Something. It's just like, oh, it's so stupid. How stupid do you have to be to not know how to wear a face mask? It's like, it's not rocket surgery. It's not hard. It goes over your mouth and your nose. That's the entire instructions. It's not hard. I swear. You just want to slap them. You just want to, oh. Anyway, that's going to do us. I think we're done before I go on a rant. I'm quite proud that we managed to finish that today and do a magnet. It's a flipping magnet. How do they work? Hello, Mum Fox. Hello. I did a magnet. Look, I did a magnet. Look. I know. I'm a genius. I'm a stable genius. I know all the best words. I did a magnet. I'm so proud. Right. Anyway, it's cut off now, so you have to have it. Oh, Dad. Oh dear, model making truck. I went to a shop and asked for a bag. The lady behind the counter was wearing a mask but couldn't open the bag, so she pulls her mask down, licks her fingers and opens the bag. You know, I just walk out at that point. There are too many stupid people in the world. Anyway, before I start ranting, I don't want to rant. I'm having a good day today. Right, that's going to do us. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back tomorrow, of course, with eModels Monday. So me, Colin, Chris and Ted doing the eModels show tomorrow night at 9 PM on the eModels channel. Don't forget, of course, if you are a patron or if you are a YouTube channel member, you can watch the latest Millennium Falcon episode advert free right now. If you're a YouTube channel member, go to the community tab. Go to my YouTube homepage and click on community. There's a post in there for you, or you will have been sent a notification if you've got notifications turned on when I posted that up. You can go to the members only playlist and it'll be in there for you. If you're a patron, you can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru and just look at the post. There's a post on there for it that's got the link. You can watch it there or come to YouTube and watch it. You've got your own version to watch, and they're both advert free. So as a thank you, that's the latest episode. I will be editing episode 5.3, which is the next half of that one. So hopefully that should be up on the YouTubes again on early access in the next couple of days. Once I've done the Falcon, of course, I've not decided yet, but I need to get on with more awesome things and get back to the Warhammers and other things and Gunpla. So stay tuned. I've got my tabletop trauma centre that might be the next thing I do. So that's coming soon. Don't worry. Also, if you're a member, if you're a YouTube channel member, go to the YouTube channel playlist anyway, because there's also a teaser that explains what tabletop trauma centre is, and only you guys and patrons can see that. So if you're a patron or if you're a YouTube member, go and have a look. It shows you what Tabletop Trauma Centre is all about. But yes, that's going to do us. Thank you very much. Don't forget, of course, if you want to become a YouTube channel member, just click the join button at the bottom of this video, underneath, or under any of my videos, or on the channel homepage. There's a couple of tiers. You get advert-free early access content to videos, most videos, and you get a badge and emojis and things like that you can use in chat. But I shall go and make my dinner now. So thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget, of course, Dad is going to be starting his in-between show in about 20 minutes on his channel, Scaly Models. I apologise, Dad. I can't come and watch yours because I'm always making the dinner when it's your stream. If I can, I'll come and try and watch it though, if I can, while I've got the beef joint in the oven. But yes, Dad's on at 6:15 on his channel, Scaly Models. And then, of course, Chris at 8 PM tonight with Warhammer Sunday, so make sure to go and watch that as well. It's Chris this week. He's working on his Orc Battle Wagon, I think he's still working on. So go and check that out. Dad says, no worries. Yeah, it's just because it's 6:15. I have to go make the dinner. But yes, so yeah, Dad at 6:15 in about 20 minutes, in 15 minutes, and Chris at 8 PM. So make sure you go and watch all of those. I shall bid you adieu. Guthorm says hello. Hopefully the next time we meet, I will have an Xbox with 130,000 games on it. Yay! And you'll never hear from me for about 6 months. Yay! No, not yay. But yes, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to make sure my buttons still work. Yes, they still work. Thank goodness. Take care of yourselves. I'll give you a little TED to go off with.
Slap it on.
There you go. Always nice, a bit of TED there. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome. Stay safe. Wash your damn hands. And wear a mask. Ignore what the government says. Wear a mask. Wash your damn hands. Take care. Adios, amoebas. I've said adios, amoebas early. Oh, well, never mind. Adios, amoebas. I'm an idiot. What can I do?